than asking your banker. So call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
I'm an Arizona truck driver. I deliver food, medicine, supplies, and hope.
And during times of crisis, I support our communities. But every day I see people putting lives and families at risk.
Distracted driving is deadly, period. Be aware, be safe, and visit sharetheroadaz.com and find tips on how to drive safely around trucks.
This message is sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. And always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale.
Here we go.
This is KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to a Friday edition of the Daily Blender as we are broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar, palatial Harmon Solar Studios in beautiful uptown Scottsdale. And right over there, that's the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. That's Keon Rose. Next to him, it's Ralph Romano from Harmon Solar joining us. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien out today. You are the Fourth Dimension. Texting in at 888-368-1580, and we've got the damn show today. I'm just telling you guys right now, we have got a fully loaded show. D-backs news last night. We'll talk to you about Ryan Nelson, who had to leave in the second inning after a comebacker caught him. Golden State's run, is it over? Are the Warriors done? The Eagles and Packers game in Brazil. There's some problems there, and we're going to talk about that. We have a new game here on the Daily Blender. We're going to call it True or Not True. So, Ralph, you and Keon will be the contestants, and I will be, of course, feeding you the questions of true or not true. So,
true.
Get ready for that. Got some college football news today. Keon Rose has another mock draft for us. I love this. We're only, 7 days away from the big mock draft? 6 days? 6 days, right? Next Thursday, right?
Yeah.
25th? That's where we're at, right?
That's where we're at.
6 days away from live from Detroit, Michigan. Whole lot of news here and happenings going on. Plus, Big George is on the state in Big Georgia sports history. Maybe a wheel of sports. We'll see what we get through. Ralph, you're not wearing a hat today, I notice.
No, I'm not. Is
that because you're not happy about what happened to your Dodgers in Washington?
No, I want people to see my entire
nation's
face
capital
for its beauty. You know,
is that what it is,
yeah.
Or is it that the Nationals took to it?
I feel like I've been watching Keon. He never wears a hat, and you can
from your
see
he wears
on there. So
occasionally he wears a hat on
occasions.
I have special occasions,
6 or 7 hats, but
yeah,
my hair has gotten to a point where only 2 of them actually fit.
Me too. Me too.
So Keon, you want to tell us? Go ahead and tell us about your Nationals. I hate to lead with this, but Ralph's on the show today, so why not?
Happened, or I don't understand.
Yeah. The Dodgers went into Washington and left with a couple of L's there. That series, it's okay. I've got the score right here.
You don't have the scores? Keon just
it's okay. I've got you covered.
Keon just happens to have them right there.
I figured you might actually have a little amnesia there. I would too, personally. 2-0 on Wednesday. Nats over the Dodgers, and then the not the Tuesday, but the Monday, the Nats got them 6-4. Which, giving up 6 runs to this Nationals team is It takes work, you know.
So what's going on with the?
To be fair,
what's going on?
This
To
is
be fair,
this is Major League Baseball, and everybody will beat everybody. So you can't take you go into a place where a team maybe is not as good as you, and you lose 2 out of 3. That happens all the time. So for me, it doesn't mean anything. For you, you have to really enjoy it and take what you can get, because when we get down to October, we'll be there and you'll be watching.
I mean, of course.
Wow.
But we're not in October, are we? we're here right now.
We're here in
with
April
with
right now.
the Dodgers stumbling all over themselves.
Well, I knew that
in
would
DC.
They've got to get past their pitching injuries, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I hope the Nats can do something, but the division's too tough. It just.
What do you think about? What do you think about your Natties currently in 4th place there in the NL East?
I thought they were going to be last, so honestly, I'm pretty pleased.
Oh no, that spot is safe for the Florida Marlins.
The Marlins have that all sewed up, but last year, I mean, they were fighting for it. Last year, the Nationals were really bad, and I think that the team is really young and exciting. I like a lot of the guys that are on the squad right now. Abrams is really just fun to watch. So I think he's someone who might have a fairly high ceiling. But they need more talent, obviously, on the roster. But like they've got a pretty deep farm team, and so like
need some pitching. They need some pitching.
I think, but they draft because the Lerner family that owns the team, they're incredibly cheap. So you kind of forced to build through the draft because there's no help coming. They'll spend money, but it's like if you're close and you need something to push you over the top, they'll spend money. If you're bad, they're not going to spend money to make you better.
All right, there you go. So Natties take 2 of 3 from the.
So what
Dodgers?
Can you go over the NOS standings real quick, Randy?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. The Dodgers right now are leading.
Oh, okay.
Then it's the Padres, and then it's the Diamondbacks, and that means what?
No, then it's the Giants and the Diamondbacks.
And
the Yahoo Sports has Arizona above.
Yeah, I believe it's the Diamondbacks
because they're Yahoos.
And then then the Giants, then the Colorado Rockies.
Actually, the Diamondbacks and Giants are tied, but yeah,
they're tied. But I think the
percentage points for some reason matter.
Yeah,
and,
there's some tiebreaker.
Exactly
there's some tiebreaker the Diamondbacks have over the Giants right now.
Well, it's certainly not season series because last night Diamondbacks took one on the chin, 5-0. Well, that pitcher for the Giants, that Webb,
he was on.
Logan Webb. Oh my God,
yeah,
that kid is sick. He went 7 strong, gave up 2 hits, 1 walk, and he had 5 Ks. I thought he was going to have more than 5 Ks watching the game last night. Diamondbacks end up with 3 hits on the night. Couldn't move anybody around. It was 5-0 final from San Francisco. Both teams now sporting a 9-11 season record. Who cares? It's April, and we play again tonight in San Francisco. What?
I mean, we're separate right now because
we didn't care about the Dodgers record either, and but I just thought that Keon, look, he doesn't often get a lot of opportunities to gloat about his Nationals on this show.
Also, we're not doing anything in October. April matters a lot to me.
Well, there you go.
You guys are going to the playoffs, probably.
Don't use that word probably. Just say we're going to the playoffs.
Yes, just say we're going to the playoffs.
Okay, you're going to the playoffs. I'm saying my team is not going to the playoffs. So April matters to me. October does not mean anything. I will not be watching the red, white, and blue.
I just feel like we're getting selective caring.
But it's not selective.
Selective hearing.
Not from
what do you mean?
If you're the Diamondbacks, you're like, yeah, we might see these guys in October. So April doesn't matter as much if you're those teams. If you're this team right here, the Curly W, the Washington Nationals,
the Walgreens,
you take your fun when you can get it.
And
right now it's
the Curlies, but okay.
6-4 in their last 10 are the Nationals. Good for you, Keon.
Yeah, man.
Good for you.
Remember,
start.
Dodgers will be here, I think, next week or the week after. So
Dodgers are 4-6 in their last 10. So just throwing that out there for what
and
it's
they're
worth.
Still in first place. That's the miracle.
So anyway, the Diamondbacks will be in action again tonight against the Giants. Both teams are locked in at the same the same record. And this is a spot here. Diamondbacks need to come out and play hard. In my opinion, they need to kind of step it up a bit. I know they've had some injuries. I know they've had some letdowns, but and I know they've had some coaching things they have to get over. But I think the Diamondbacks need to win this game against the Giants. Don't let the Giants sweep them in San Francisco. This is not something you can allow the Giants to do.
They need to fire their man. Oh, no, wait, that's Big George. Tonight's Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, well,
that should be a heck of a matchup.
If Jordan Montgomery is sharp.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see because he didn't have a spring training.
In AAA, he got shelled in AAA.
Yeah, but throw that away. That's just.
I think you do too. But some people will look at that and say, "Yeah, Jordan Montgomery got shelled, and we'll have to wait and see." Anyway,
meant nothing.
Diamondbacks Giants 9-11 currently is their record. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and throw this out there for Ralph today. 12-9 is the Dodgers record. The Padres 11-10 is their record, and they're a game behind the Dodgers. Giants and D-backs are 2.5 back. Meanwhile, the Rockies keep sinking
like a rock.
God bless them.
You know, the exciting news for the Dodgers is Walker Buehler is starting to look really sharp in his rehab, and he may be back in the next week or two.
Good.
That is huge.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you have Buehler back with Yamamoto, Glass now, and Bobby Miller is off his list. That's pretty solid.
Last night, if you were watching the game, you probably saw Ryan Nelson get a comebacker right into his pitching arm. Fortunately, today X-rays were negative. Doesn't look like there was anything other than it hit him and hurt him. Probably a good stinger. Probably when you get hit on the forearm, Ralph, you and Keon could talk about this, but you get hit on the forearm, and that's like a stinger sometimes. Your whole hand could go numb. You could really lose feeling there for a while. But Mike Yastrzemski, he needs to be thrown out of the damn game forever for hitting one back at our pitcher. That's the way I feel about it. But anyway, Diamondbacks lost last night 5-0, and hitting was a question last night. They had no answers for this kid from the Giants. So is this something the Diamondbacks, Keon, are looking at happening to them? Their offense is going to go quiet for a while. Is this something that the Diamondbacks need to work on? What's happening?
I don't know exactly what they need to work on, but I do think that there are stretches of last season that this reminds me of. There was a stretch kind of midway through the first half of the season where the bats got quiet, and we were wondering what's going on, and then they did get it going again. And then if you recall, after the All-Star break last year, they showed up and they were in a slump again. And I do think that the pitching and the hitting on the Diamondbacks is really complementary for some reason. When they can't pitch, they also, for whatever reason, can't hit. And maybe it's just a pressure thing. Maybe they're overthinking it, but it just seems to be really connected in a way that it's not always the case with other teams.
Having watched the game last night, Ralph, it seemed like this kid, Logan Webb, had the Diamondbacks number. I mean, he would set them up with a high fastball. Then he would throw that badass sinker in there, and it seemed to fool everybody. It seemed to fool everybody from the one hitter all the way through the 9-hitter. Did you see that as well?
I was going to say that. I was going to say the way he was tunneling last night with his pitches, that when you can do that and be as precise as he was being, I don't care who you're going against, you can shut bats down. So the Diamondbacks, it's not an issue of them not being able to hit. They ran into a guy that was on his game, and that's going to happen all the time in the MLB, where you're going to just run into that guy and you're just not going to score. So no, it's not an issue for the Diamondbacks. I wouldn't sweat that at all. I mean, Logan Webb was on his game, and when you can tunnel and spin the ball the way he was yesterday, great job.
And a long season ahead of us. Remember, it's only 20 games. 20 games out of 162. Big George, I don't want your text in here firing anybody, get rid of anybody. I don't want to hear that. It's only 20 games. Let's wait until after the July deadline, when they get through the All-Star break, they get through the trade deadline. Let's see where the teams are at, because I think that you really can't tell. And nobody on this text line, 888-368-1580, can tell me the Diamondbacks are in peril right now. Nobody can tell me that, because look at what happened last year. Speaking of the text line, let's go there now. Speak of Big George, there he is. Hello, gentlemen, and happy Friday. TGIF. Diamondbacks waiting.
Here we go.
What I need to do is I need to press this much sooner. This button, this tab to get to the text. You know what? We'll come back to you, Big George. Oily Stool says Ralph Ralph is not wearing, and he is wearing a plain white T-shirt. Did Ralph just roll out of bed to do the show? It's not a plain white T-shirt, as he's showing you now.
It's a Dodgers jersey.
If you're watching on the YouTube, it's a Dodger jersey. I threw up in my mouth just a little bit. The 0511 says, Ralph, you should always wear a hat. It would have prevented you from getting crabs.
I don't. What?
What?
Yeah.
What kind of hat are we talking about?
You wear a hat would have prevented you. Meanwhile,
That's
Big
not where you
Georges
get
are
crabs,
still going through the wake up wheel here. So let's go on to a Brunswick guy. Brunswick guy says tonight's Diamondbacks game. Wait a minute. That's Big George. How did hello, gentlemen. Happy Friday at TGI. Did you guys watch the Gary Bettman and the Alex Morello's press conference today? No.
Nope.
No, I did not. No.
Did anybody?
Is anybody really going to watch that?
For what? I'm sorry that I screwed up so bad. Your city doesn't have a team. The fifth largest city in the country no longer has a professional hockey team. Oh, geez,
Well,
sorry. Like that. What are you going to hear that is going to make you happy?
Apparently, the Gary Bettman invoked the great MacArthur thing. We will return. We will be back. So
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said the great Douglas MacArthur speech when he said we will return. Will the NHL return to Arizona like Douglas MacArthur did? In fact, return to liberate the Philippines? Yes, I think so.
I think so too, and that could have been a press release.
You know who's more pissed than Arizona about this? I was reading about this. The people of Quebec, because they wanted the team to move to Quebec so they can redo the Nordiques, but they can't seem to get the NHL to bring the team back, and they're pissed. They're pissed off at Salt Lake.
The NHL. Every time they think of expansion, they think of literally every other city. And they're getting angrier every time. Salt Lake, Seattle, Las Vegas. Every time there's a new team, the old Quebecois, they don't have anything going their way.
Let's see. Tonight's, according to Brunswick guy, tonight's Diamondbacks game will be posted in crystal clear 4K on Apple TV. Looking forward to watching it on Apple TV. I hope it's a W for you, Brunswick guy. Rough Rob says Diamondbacks need Trevor Bauer. Look, I've been a proponent of. I don't know why he's been outed by baseball. I don't know if it was the bad press. I don't know if it's that the commissioner doesn't like Trevor Bauer holding him on task or calling him to task and saying the things that he does. Trevor Bauer is a strong personality, and I don't know why he's not playing in the major leagues.
Did you see how he came out? Because they were talking about the second girl that
he's gay.
No, he's not gay. The second girl that maybe he is. I don't know.
You
the
said
second girl that
came out.
The second girl that was accusing him of stuff actually now has a felony for her accusation because it was proven false. And she's been doing this to multiple people, including multiple athletes. So she actually has a chance of going to jail.
Whoopsie.
Well, because that's fraud.
Right.
So,
and he's sitting there going, what more do I need to do to get back into baseball?
Well, I mean, exactly my point. Why didn't
So he's in Mexico right now playing.
Yeah, if you don't have the evidence, like I just don't see why what you're keeping him out for. Like people are worried about a backlash. What backlash?
Get him on
if
you can get him on an economic. You could get him on an economic contract.
You can get him on league minimum.
You can get him on the veteran minimum right now.
He's already said he will play for it.
Average Joe says tough week for Porter's the Porter family. Coben Porter today, the younger brother of Denver Nuggets star Michael Porter Jr., was sentenced Friday to 6 years in prison for a drunken driving crash that killed a woman in Colorado last year. Are we?
The Porter family's having a rough week.
Do we need to have this sort of bad news on a Friday on this program?
I don't think so, but I do think that it's just kind of relevant because of the whole Jonte Porter and now there's another Porter brother. It is bad week for the Porter family.
I just hope Michael Porter doesn't do something to, end up in the headlines.
I mean, I hope not too, but
wow.
They're on a bad streak, so
well,
hopefully we won't see, but
let's see here. Tiger Paws is on the text line at 888-368-1580. Tiger Paws says, if that land is near the Desert Ridge area, what good is it going to do? Part of the problem with being in Glendale was that it was too far from the majority of the fan base, which is 65% East Valley. That's going to just be as far out as the Cardinal Stadium. I don't think so. It's all freeway.
I thought it was in Scottsdale, not Desert Ridge.
Well, if it's by Desert Ridge, there's a lot of land out there, and I heard it was somewhere near the Desert Ridge area, but it's not that far out there. I mean, to me, I think it would be easy. You just jump on the 101 from where you are, and you end up getting there in not too bad a time at all. Really, personally, I don't think it's too bad, but we'll have to keep our eyes out. Big George, I don't know why your texts are not coming through. But we're going to take a break. I'm going to let this thing thinky wheel through the break. We'll come back. We'll pick up your text, and we've got a lot more to talk about. It's a Friday edition, folks, of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball, the Diamondbacks are in San Francisco tonight as they take on the Giants. Arizona getting a run and a half, minus 200 on the run line. San Francisco minus the run and a half, plus 164. Arizona plus 110 on the money line. The Giants minus 130 with an over-under of 7.5. NBA playoffs begin Saturday for the Phoenix Suns. They're in Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Phoenix is a 2-point road underdog in game one, plus 110 on the money line, while the Timberwolves are minus 130. The over-under at 214. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
The countdown is on for the 2024 NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light. Catch all 7 rounds, 3 days, live from Detroit. April 25th to 27th with NFL Network Draft coverage presented by Verizon. And on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and streaming on NFL Plus. It all starts Thursday, April 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Visit NFL.com/draft for more information. Rocket Mortgage, official partner of the NFL Draft.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details.
Celebrating 30 years of AmeriCorps looks like building lifetime change makers in Arizona communities. From serving children alongside First Things First to Executive Director of Prevent Child Abuse Arizona. From the Pinal County Sheriff's Office to the Governor's Office, serving with AmeriCorps today creates limitless potential for every new member to lead Arizona tomorrow. Where will AmeriCorps take you? Join the movement by signing up at serve.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harmon Solar Podcast at harmonsolar.com.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
And we're the Weekend Warriors.
So, Ralph, what are the Weekend Warriors all about?
Well, we talk about sports.
National sports?
Of course.
Regional sports?
Sure.
Arizona sports?
Yeah. And we also interview local athletes, coaches, and sports-related business owners to share their amazing stories.
But what if they don't have an amazing story?
Then we talk about something else. You know what, Neil? You're fired.
Again, well, listen in for great sports talk, amazing interviews, and to see if I have a job next week.
You won't. It's the Weekend Warriors every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580, The Fanatic.
I don't know. I think you're awfully hard on Neil for some reason.
Every time I hear that, I just want to fire him again.
I don't know why you're so hard on Neil. I just asked a question. Are we live? I'm sorry. Welcome back to the Daily Blender 1580 99.3 The Fanatic. As we are rolling along here on a Friday, Big George, I discovered what was the problem here. Your text is too damn long.
Can you stop writing entire novels? Is that?
It's like 4 paragraphs long.
That's just like nobody else is sending. You know, you can send shorter texts many times throughout the show. It doesn't have to be a, let
me try to
cover
get
the
this,
New York Times every
out here, and maybe Big George will summarize. He says, Big George on the text line at 888-368-1580. Quebec City is never getting a team. Bettman doesn't want any more teams in Canada. Also, Quebec is not a welcoming place for what? Unilingual English speakers who have to spend 8 months in a city with an Anglo population of 1.5% and shrinking. This is particularly difficult on wives, children, and girlfriends who are left behind to fend for themselves when the players are off on a 10-day road trip. And the number one reason is that no one wants to see Pierre-Karl Pelledu, while he deserves full credit for rescuing the Alouettes. Rescuing.
I think he meant rescuing.
Rescuing.
But typos happen. Especially when you write, 13
6
chapters.
of the Canadian owners view him as a sovereignist who wants to take Quebec out of Canada. The one owner who can't share that view of the Canadians' boss is Jeff Molson of Molson Golden Beer fame. I don't understand most of that text.
Well, it sounds like he doesn't like Quebec. Maybe he had a bad experience there or something.
Trying to give us some sort of information on why Quebec will never have a hockey team.
Quebec is considered one of the most welcoming cities in Canada.
Well, he says
to Americans.
It's not, and
just
you heard what I
and
just read.
if you only speak one language, how are you in the NHL? Because we got guys from Russia, Sweden, Finland.
Yeah,
just they're from everywhere.
Oh yeah. No, that's true. Yeah,
Norway.
I'm not buying it, George.
Billy Ray from Avondale says Bauer's banned, but there's no way that Otani did not know about the gambling. I guess that when you are in an international star, that the rules change. Well, no, you missed the whole point here, Billy Ray. See, Otani had an interpreter. Let's go to Haruto, 888-368-1580. Dear God, how does this happen? He's got it in oh my God, look at this. All right, let's see hello, Mr. Rose, Mr. White, Mr. Romano. It's a shame that the Dodgers lost 2 games to the Nationals. A shame.
It is a shame.
But I wouldn't call it that.
But despite the losses, it's fun to watch Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Do you think that the Dodgers can turn things around? No, I don't think so. Matter of fact, they're going to go on an epic, historic losing streak.
Yes, the Dodgers, when it's all said and done, will be the last one standing.
Pull the plug says Quebec is not welcoming at all, Ralph, especially to English speakers.
That's not true. It is considered one of the most welcoming cities to the American people in Canada. Look it up.
Ringless Joe says, in a world Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a trailer. In a world where I can buy maple syrup at the store, there's no reason to live in Canada. Nothing to do up there except eat frozen moose. I think Pierre, our friend Pierre,
might have something to say about
and a
that.
few of our Canadian friends would have a difference of opinion. I'm just saying. 888-368-1580, some college football news today. Well, it finally happened. The NCAA, Keon and Ralph, announced Arizona State getting their penalties for those. Remember back in, was it way back in 2020 or 21 or when the hell did it happen again? It's been so long, I've forgotten. It's almost a decade ago when ASU received, a notice that they were going to have some violation penalties from the NCAA. Well, it came down today. ASU receiving 4 years of probation, scholarship reductions, and recruiting restrictions in connection with the recruiting violations that occurred under former coach Herm Edwards, according to the announcement the NCAA Committee on Infractions announcing today.
No, why should they even be allowed to do this anymore?
I agree with you.
I mean, the world has
Why
changed.
should they?
That stuff probably is more than legal now compared to, I don't know what they did, but
Well, it was the COVID dead period, and they were recruiting. They were out recruiting.
So what?
And
didn't they bring them to the stadium or something?
Yeah. They were very stupid about it. And so this is what happens. Now, sadly, the guys that actually did it aren't here. That's the thing that I think is crazy is you're slapping ASU with a penalty because you didn't move fast enough to punish the guys that actually did the thing. We've got new coaches in here. We've got new
there's
personnel. I don't understand.
Not only against the college, the university, but 4 former ASU staff members also received show cause penalties ranging from 3 to 10 years. Those include what's his name, the Las Vegas Raiders coach, Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce. I think Herm Edwards is probably going to get a show cause penalty as well.
Well, he got one as well. Yeah,
but
he's on the TV
in
again.
college again.
So.
I don't think either of them want to come back.
Why don't they just respond to the NCAA and say, hey, you know what? We appreciate your input. No one cares about you guys anymore. What you have to say. Just shut up. You don't rule this anymore. Go away. This is a new world.
Wow.
I mean, you could do that, but I think that
just shut up, NCAA. No one likes you. Just go away.
You'd need an alliance with some other schools.
I
don't think
you could get it.
You can just. I mean, if they sit there and enforce things like all of these schools are at least still right now for the moment agreeing that the NCAA is a decent enough regulating body that they're okay with following these rules. But there is a think tank out there, a college athletics think tank that has been going through.
What? There's a think tank.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of college athletic people with a lot of influence. Former ADs, things like that, and they're talking about putting together an 80-team super conference that's going to have, soccer style promotion and relegation and a bunch of other stuff. And then they'll just govern themselves. And if they do put that thing together, NCAA is dead.
Soccer.
They are going to die.
Yeah. Not soccer specifically, but the fact that you can have teams, you're in there's an upper league and a lower league, and you can be bad enough that you fall into the lower league. You can be good enough that you jump up into that upper league. And the same way that they do in the English Premier League in soccer.
Well, so they have some reduction in scholarships. Is that really going to hurt the Sun Devils moving forward? I mean,
it always does. Being able to tell some player I will pay for your school. It might be the difference between them playing for you and playing for somebody else.
Just give them an NIL deal.
Generally, though, we're talking about guys that are. They're good enough to play on the team, but these are not like 5-star recruits.
You can get an NIL deal for them to pay for their school.
Obviously, you prioritize the 5 stars. You're not going to sit there and tell a 5-star, oh boy, all out of scholarships. But you do need the 3 stars and the 4 stars and the 2-star guys and the 1-star guys as well. Like these are the people that add depth to your roster. So, and that's the thing is for some of these guys that are going to be missing out on scholarships, there isn't anybody that's going to want to give them NIL money. Because they may not see them as worth it.
So moving forward, okay, Sun Devils won 3 games last year. Is this going to impact them in the 23-24 season? I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think so because we've already gone through the bulk
Antonio
of the
Pierce
the
is
recruiting
gone.
cycle.
Yeah.
So like it's probably not going to impact them too much. And I know that they wanted to hit ASU with harsher penalties, but obviously, who are you punishing? You'd just be punishing the kids at a certain point.
Well, I mean, Herm
So-
got fired 3 games into the 21 season.
Yeah.
So,
You know, you say that these kids are because they're 3-star or whatever wouldn't be NIL eligible, which I disagree with.
It's not eligible. They are
Well, they
eligible.
wouldn't get real money, is what I'm saying. But I guarantee you, as we go into this new world and things like this kind of happen, which I think won't be for long because I think the NCAA is going away. But as it's still there, I think the schools can backdoor with people to give those kids deals.
Excuse me?
To make sure that their stuff is paid for. You know that's going to go on if it's not already going on.
Virginia, all right, or Virginia has announced that they can they have passed a law there in Virginia in the Commonwealth that the universities can pay kids NIL money. They can pay them a salary. Why wouldn't ASU be able to somehow finagle something like that?
Well, it would have to be first legal in Arizona to do that. You know, if the state of Arizona doesn't make that change, then ASU can't do it the way that Virginia can, because Virginia's state has changed their laws.
No, I understand that.
To make that the case. So that's why ASU can't do it. And to Ralph's point, they have I need to find the site again, but there was an NIL deal tracker site, and like the top guys are making exactly what you'd expect them to make, you know, $1 million, $900,000 or something like that. But you start to get to page 3 and 4, and there's, you know, like $50, $20. Like to sell something, you need to have a brand, and not like second string offensive tackle doesn't have a brand that's selling anything. He just isn't. And so you might lose out on that. And then if your starting tackle's hurt, you couldn't give him a scholarship and he went somewhere else. You're stuck with what you're stuck with. You know, like it's the margins there. It's not necessarily that nobody's making money. It's not like no 3-star guy is making money. It's that a decent chunk of them just aren't.
But we're talking about a penalty that's going to be in place for how long? Did they say 3 years?
It's a 4-year probation,
4 years,
scholarship reductions, and recruiting restrictions, which they haven't been specific about that. And it's possible we may not know because these are always backroom deals.
I feel like that's a bit much, don't you? The national champion Michigan Wolverines got away basically scot-free.
But they were hit with similar penalties to this, to be honest. Because
we're talking Michigan here. I mean, these guys that the alum at Michigan are going to make sure that the football team is reloaded again this year.
And that's the thing, is like the language in both of these is very similar, but the details we don't know. We don't know if Michigan got a better deal than ASU. I would suspect it because there is more influence up there, but I don't know. You know, when it comes to the recruiting violations, like the scholarship reductions and those recruiting restrictions, that information may be available later, but like they don't have to tell anybody. It could just be between the NCAA and ASU, and we may never know to what extent that is, or if the scholarships will continue to slowly be increased over the 4 years. We just don't have enough details.
All right, so let me throw this guy at you guys. Herm Edwards, not there. He's not coaching in football anywhere. He didn't go on to another university. He's back at the 4-letter network, and he's wearing his funky socks, and he's talking football, pro football on there. Antonio Pierce, he's the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know who else was named in this as some of the other staff members. The bottom line is they're not at ASU.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct in assuming that?
You are correct.
Okay. So if they're not at ASU, then why it seems like such a damaging thing to a university that doesn't have the NIL kind of backing or the the kind of backing that a USC or a Texas or a Michigan or Penn State. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This seems to, I think, damage ASU, who's on the rebuilding end of things. They went 3-9 last year, for heaven's sakes. Now you're going to slap them with reduction in bringing players in. I mean, ASU doesn't go out and scour the country for 5-star athletes.
They sure are going to slap ASU with it, and this is the reason why. Sometime in the next handful of years here, the NCAA is not going to exist. I don't think that people like this. I don't like it. Forget me. I don't think that schools like that you could commit an infraction in 2020, fire your coach and entire staff, have new people in, and almost half a decade later, actually get punished. And it's a different group of people that didn't actually commit the infraction. And then the kids, like some probations include postseason bans. Some probations include things like reduced scholarships. Like, you're only hurting players. Like, you're not hurting the people anymore. And that's the outdated way that the NCAA moves and works.
Yes.
These investigations do not need to take 4 to 5 years. Figure it out in a few months, move on it, and be done. Unless it's something that's so serious that it needs, further explanation, which this isn't.
See what the text line has to say at 888-368-1580. Mr. Wilbur says, I 100% agree with Cohen. Who? Tempe Normal Teachers College is stupid, very stupid. Mr. Wilbur, you guys ever find those millions of dollars? You think he heard that? Ringless Joe says, Ralph, you might not be happy to know the Lakers have a 25% chance to win the Nuggets series. That's honestly good chances.
I would give him 50%, but okay.
50?
Yes. This is not going to be your daddy's series. This will be different. I'm telling you.
It's literally
not going to be my daddy's series.
Last year when they got swept away, is that my?
I got a feeling.
It wasn't that long ago.
I mean, I could be wrong.
When this entire season you didn't beat them
in-season tournament champs just sounds different. There's something different about this team. I don't know.
In-season champs.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you still lost to them all season long after being in-season champs.
I'm just telling
Tell you what, Big George on the text line. He's got something to say. Haruto's back on the text line, and also Pierre from the Canadian. We'll get those when we come back. It is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
The countdown is on for the 2024 NFL Draft, presented by Bud Light. Catch all 7 rounds, 3 days, live from Detroit. April 25th to 27th with NFL Network draft coverage presented by Verizon. And on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and streaming on NFL Plus. It all starts Thursday, April 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Visit NFL.com/draft for more information. Rocket Mortgage, official partner of the NFL Draft.
Mom, where are my keys?
Why do I have to take out the garbage? I'm too sick to go to school. Quit hogging the bathroom.
If you're having a hard time living with all the noise, it's even harder to live without it. Fake pills with fentanyl are the #1 killer of youth in Arizona. Learn how to talk to your kids at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Going to college and not acquiring debt is possible with the help of the U.S. Army. You'll be able to choose the career you want and receive help to pay for your full tuition. There are also reimbursements for student loans and GI Bill benefits. In the U.S. Army, your mission will be to learn. Learn how you can be all you can be at goarmy.com/AIA Sports. That's goarmy.com/AIA Sports.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. but even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
This is fire.
actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
We know how it goes. You can't always tune in and hear your favorite shows and hosts.
Dude, look, I'm a loser. Okay?
It's cool, bro. That's why we post podcasts of your favorite shows and hosts. Listen when you want to. Listen on demand.
That is great and frankly kind of amazing.
Go to 1580thefanatic.com to download.
Daily Blender heading for the weekend, and we are almost through hour number one. My name is Randy White, Keon Rose right over there, and there's Ralph Romano from Harmon Solar, also the host of the Weekend Warriors. He keeps firing his codes, though. Ralph, what do you got this weekend? I know last week you had Ben on.
Yeah.
It was Neil at the rehab facility?
Yeah.
And
He's
what's
back from the
happening
ranch.
this weekend?
Yeah,
Is
he's
he
back
coming
from the
back?
ranch. Yeah, he's back from the ranch. He's actually wearing clothes, so that's good.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a really good show. We're gonna talk about the wage gap in the NBA and the WNBA. Really want to get into that. That's gonna be a
Okay.
good topic.
All
We're
right.
gonna talk about some effects of the Coyotes being gone and what that means and how that impacts fans. And then we're gonna be talking a little bit of baseball. And then we have this thing we've been doing with the AZ Best Sports Moment competitions. We're down to the final two, and we're gonna ask the texters to get online and choose the winner. So we have Luis Gonzalez's moment where they won the World Series against the Cardinals going to Super Bowl 43.
Okay.
So we need texters to get online and help us determine who's going to be the better, who's the number one moment in AZ sports.
Well, there it is. You can hear Weekend Warriors coming up Saturday. Was it 10 o'clock?
10 a.m. tomorrow.
10 a.m. Yeah. Right after the AIA show. And then Keon Rose I'm sorry, I said it wrong. And Jeffrey would dock me 5 points. Without interruption, Keon Rose will be immediately following. Keon, what do you got lined up for this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the final week of pre-draft, so I'm going to get into some of my defensive rankings. Not going to belabor it too much, but I want to give some love to the defensive side of the ball. I spent way too much time on offense. And then I'm going to do a Cardinals only mock draft, just the first 3 rounds. Where who the Cardinals are going to take for the first 3. Just kind of think through that process of what do they need, who's available, and then maybe some other draft scenario type stuff. So
immediately following the Weekend Warriors, it's without interruption, Keon Rose.
Yep.
Do you have an opening for the show? I mean, maybe I should produce something, or does it just play?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a song, but I do need some actual production there. The song's more of like just a placeholder.
I know a guy. If you need some help,
I do.
Don't know if you know that.
I just kind of want to think about what direction I want to go with it first, and then I'll ask
Perhaps,
our mutual friend who
okay
might be you.
Pierre's on the text line at 888-368-1580. And Pierre, I'm not even going to attempt the French.
You got to do the accent.
I can't do it. It's not as good as Jeffrey. Jeffrey's got a good French accent. I don't.
He's got something.
Well, he's got. All right. Fine. You want me to do the?
I do.
Hello, Keon, Randy, and Ralph.
Go.
I don't know who these people are that's saying the bad things about Quebec, but Quebec is a very welcoming place. People are extremely friendly towards the Americans. They're not friendly towards English-speaking Canadians. There's a big difference. We want our town, we want our own home country, and we want to separate from Canada. The Americans are our friends, especially in the maple syrup business. Thank you, Pierre.
That was good. See, you said you couldn't do it.
I didn't. It didn't sound like to me. It didn't sound Frenchy French. I'm sorry.
I thought it was good. Sounded like you had a sore throat, but it was good.
Well, I do have a sore throat always.
I like
from mostly being, well, thank you, Ralph. I appreciate that. Big George says, breaking news, ASU is losing another star wide receiver, Elijah Badger, announcing today that he's joining Jaden Rashada in the transfer portal. Elijah Badger led the Sun Devils in receiving yards in back-to-back seasons. In his last season in Tempe, Badger recorded 65 catches for 713 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. The bad news continues for the Sun Devils.
I mean, the Rashada thing is just not – I'm not worried about that. I'm sorry. It seems like he lost the job. That is why he's in the transfer portal. Happens all the time. You've got 2 guys. Rashada was a 5-star. Sam Levitt transferred from MSU. He was a 4-star. They had a quarterback battle. Rashada was injured a lot last year, so I'm pretty sure that factors into the math here. And he probably lost the battle. That's when you see guys hop into the transfer portal after the spring practices are done. That's usually what they've gotten some indication that on the depth chart they're not going to be number 1. And both of these guys think that they've got a case to be in the NFL one day. Being on the bench does not help you do that. You've got to get in front of eyeballs. You've got to get in front of scouts. So Rashad is gone, but that's not. Badger is a loss. I will say that, but let's not go with the bad news keeps on rolling when a guy who lost a quarterback battle is transferring. That he wasn't going to be playing.
How bad is
you
it
can
going
only
to be?
play one of them at a time.
How bad is it going to be if Jaden Rashada wins the Heisman Trophy?
Well, I mean, it's going to look awful. I doubt it's going to happen. So, I mean, there's that, but it's not going to look great.
So,
and then you lose 2 of them because Jaden Daniels was gone too. Even though
did you see Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman Trophy?
After that first game at LSU, it was like, okay, something has
first game at
changed.
LSU, but we're talking about before the first game.
This season, not even the season before that. His first season at LSU, no, I wouldn't even have told you that then. He looked solid, but he didn't look like a Heisman guy. But the first game of last year, something had clearly changed.
Does he look commanderish?
I mean, personally, I
don't give it away, Ralph. We'll talk about it later.
But
Ralph, do you think that how bad is it going to look if Jaden Rashada goes somewhere and he wins the Heisman Trophy and ASU loses another potential Heisman Trophy quarterback?
I think it's going to speak volumes about how the players feel about how far they can get staying at ASU, and it's going to hurt the program because people are going to be leaving and then getting better. So the kids will start questioning, why would I want to go to ASU if everyone's leaving then getting better? So that's what I think.
Though we'll see if it happens again, because with Jaden Daniels, he left Herm specifically, and Herm didn't really have an interest in developing him as a quarterback, sadly. And he went to someone in Brian Kelly that does that very well. Is obsessed with high level quarterback play, and if you can play in a system like that, you'll be able to put up monster numbers and look good if you can stay focused and impress. I don't know that happens twice, but Jaden Rashada is a talented.
This is ASU, man.
Is a talented football player, but like the guy that stayed, Levitt, he's good, man. Like, and he might fit a little bit more in what Dillingham wants, which is an up-tempo offense. See the guy open, throw the guy open, move on. We're just going to keep marching up the field.
All right.
So that maybe that factored in as well. So I'm not going to read too much into that. But yeah, if Jaden Rashada becomes a Heisman Trophy winner, guess what? You have made a massive mistake, and everyone's going to be looking at you funny.
Navy Devil says ASU had 30-plus players in for visits. Michigan had 5. Most losses of scholarships have already happened. So did the bowl ban. ASU self-imposed restrictions on recruiting, and the bowl ban was last year. Then he also says, rumor has Rashad is going to Georgia. Jaden Daniels' mom was buying recruits plane tickets to visit ASU. Wow.
I mean, they can't penalize her though. She's
well. I mean, if
she's not an employee,
if she's buying tickets, I mean that's on her, right? That's There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's. I mean, it's a good thing that little bit of information, the school is not on the hook for literally buying the tickets that flew the players out there. But it's still not a great look for what you knew the rules were.
So what I'm hearing is ASU has already served the bowl ban. They've already had some of
which
the.
Is silly. How can you serve a bowl ban? You didn't even qualify for a bowl game. Your bowl ban was you sucked.
I mean, how do you penalize the kids that play the game though?
Yeah, that's why I think that they needed to move quickly, and then once the staff turned over, man, I figure out some administrative penalties.
How do you penalize a school that doesn't have the same staff in place? I mean,
that's what I want to know. I mean, the one thing with Michigan is the guys that are there at Michigan that were there during their infraction during 2020, they're still there. So that makes sense. This does not make sense. The staff's not the same.
All right. 36-23 says, I don't know much about Arizona State football, but they have one hell of a hockey team. I look forward to facing them again someday. Maybe you guys could come up to Maine in the middle of winter. Okay, this is our guy from Maine. Did you find the address? The Great Greek. I think he wants to be known as the Great Greek. Did we come up with a texter name for him? Great Greek? Maybe it should be Great Greek.
I know we were kind of zeroing in on one, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah.
Maybe I'll just go in here and I'll just put in Great Greek. How about if I just do that?
Did ASU hockey go up to Maine to play? Is that what he's saying?
No, he started listening to this show because Maine came down and played ASU. Apparently he listened to this show and liked it for some reason, and then went back to Maine. So and still listens. We're still trying to figure it out ourselves, to be honest.
ASU's hockey team is pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, they've got a hell of a hockey program at ASU, which is funny because you've got people that are sitting on this very text line saying, hockey in the desert, it doesn't belong in the desert. Meanwhile, ASU, didn't they go to the Frozen Four just a couple seasons ago? Was it last season or season before?
I don't know that.
They were like pretty deep in the playoffs. They may have gone to the Final Four, to the Frozen Four. I don't know. Anyway, the Great Greek. I have named you the Great Greek. Great Greek. So now you're the Great Greek. And he also says George fired the text line. What? Not sure what George fired the text line. Yeah, okay. Am I just getting some text that I didn't know I had? Is what the hell's going on here? Well, yeah, we'll try to straighten it out here. It's a Friday edition of the Daily Blender. It's Keon, Ralph, and myself, Randy. Jeffrey out today. He'll be back on Monday. We got your text at 888-368-1580. And when we come back, we're going to talk some NBA. The Warriors dynasty, is it falling apart? Is it starting to disassemble right before our eyes? We'll talk about it next on the Daily Blender on 1580 The Fanatic.
Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? Huh, you don't say. Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
O'Reilly. Is your Moore's battery weak or dead after winter storage? Get your Moore ready for spring lawn maintenance at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, purchase any Superstart lawn and garden battery and get a $10 gift card after rebate. Choose Superstart batteries for power, performance, and reliability exclusively at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
ADOT presents Terrifying Jobs.
Bull Rider, take two.
Today we're talking with Clifford Maxwell, a rodeo bullfighter. His job? Distract raging bulls from going after thrown riders. Cliff, this seems like a really terrifying job. Why do you do it?
I love protecting the bull riders when they get bucked up.
How big are these bulls?
12 to 2,200 pounds of pure muscle.
You're not cowed by any of this, obviously. Is there anything that scares you?
Yeah. Distracted drivers terrify me.
This message is brought to you by ADOT, the ABA, and this station.
Lab-grown diamonds might be new to retail, but not to Desert Wholesale Diamond. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor of Desert Wholesale Diamond. And even though I'm a fourth-generation natural diamond importer, I was the first to import these gorgeous, eco-friendly, low-carbon footprint, conflict-free, real and genuine diamonds to the West Coast. And unlike everyone who's recently gotten on the lab-grown bandwagon, we work with the largest growers in the world to bring you the best possible diamonds at the lowest possible price. We know what to import and what to reject. And because we're importing direct, working in our low overhead wholesale offices and making our own rings, bracelets, and earrings in our own facility, we can offer better pricing than anyone. So work with the leader, not the followers, and let us find you the perfect cultivated diamond for less, a lot less.
Call 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow Dave on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM. And K240U Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender, Hour 2 underway as we roll towards 6 o'clock tonight on this Friday edition. In the control room, that's the sexiest man in Sports Talk Radio. That's Keon Rose. Next to him on the YouTube screen, to his immediate left, that is, that's the sexiest man in solar industry. That's Ralph Romano. That's Pippi's man right there. What?
For now.
My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is out today. We'll be back on Monday, and you are the fourth dimension texting in at 888-368-1580 as we broadcast live from the palatial estates of the Harman Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Text line humming along here. Thank you, Pierre, for that. He says that I have a acceptable French accent. Acceptable. It's my French accent, according to Pierre, is acceptable. Not as good as Jeffrey's, but you get extra points for looking like you're smoking a pack of cigarettes. Well, see, I didn't. Are you watching on the YouTube, Pierre? Because if you are, I was not trying to smoke it. Maybe I should go get one of my cigars. That's the way I'm feeling about this. The Berg is the one that said George fired the text line. That was the Berg. Thanks, Berg, for checking in. Big George says that ASU is also losing their starting tight end. Bryce Pierre. He's also entering the transfer portal. But see, isn't this part of the whole thing, Ralph and Keon? Isn't this part of the college football, operating procedure nowadays? I mean, in a bit, we're going to talk Coach Prime talking about some of the players that he lost in the transfer portal. This is current day college football, Big George. I don't know, as your friend, as your pal, I wouldn't worry too much about it because as some guys leave, you're also going to pick up guys from the transfer portal. Guys that like, Dillingham, like the ASU look, like the way the ASU team is going.
There's no loyalty in college sports anymore. It's gone. It's free agency every year. So, you just have to get used to it. It's just the way it's going to be.
Kind of think that's the way things are going. If these young athletes feel like they can do better somewhere else, get more playing time, have a better opportunity, better showcase their talents for the NFL, well, they're going to bolt. Yeah. They're not staying here.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
5-star tackle left Iowa, went to Bama. He put his name in the transfer portal this week. Let's see here. 4-star tackle left USC. He put his name in the transfer portal. And I'm just trying to find the guys that did it this past week. 4-star from Colorado. Corner, that would have wanted to work with Dion. Whatever reason, he's in the transfer portal. Like this is happening everywhere. Like Randy said, it's not exclusive to ASU. We're just close to ASU, so obviously we get bombarded with it more. But college football has gone to a place we're not coming back from this. There might be some way to organize it, to change it, but they're going to be doing it on the fly, and it's going to be trial and error, and it's going to be ugly. But I don't think that this reflects on the program necessarily, because if you look at every program, they're all struggling with this.
Yeah, people are leaving Alabama, LSU, Georgia,
USC, Colorado,
USC,
Iowa.
absolutely.
Like it's all over the place.
It's kind of the way it goes nowadays, isn't it? T-Licious on the text line says, sorry, Keon. T-Licious says, I don't know about what's worse, Coyotes leaving or ASU sucking at everything. Do they suck at everything?
Not hockey.
Not hockey.
Not hockey.
And I don't think that they're going to continue to suck at football, but you hire a new coach and he comes in with a system that is very different from the guy before him. I think Dillingham did a really good job of tweaking what he wants to do for the guys that are there, but the guys that are there aren't the people that he really wants. What he wants is to play a whole lot faster than Herm did. So he can start there.
Yeah.
And that's that's probably a smaller offensive lineman, for instance, that you're going to put on that squad. You're probably going to ask a lot from some of your tight ends and the way that they move and play. You're going to ask for your quarterback to be more accurate on short and intermediate passes, be more of a point guard and just kind of deliver the football. Like there's a different list of needs for the coach. And so like players can tell when they're not being used in a way that makes them look good, and they want to leave and go look good. They have the ability to do it, and so they're going to.
And guys, I don't think it's a reflection on the team or the school or the coaching staff as much as it is the recruits are looking around at better opportunities. I don't think it's a reflection so much on the team or the coaches. Do you?
You know what I think? I think historical powerhouses might start changing, and this is why I say that. It's not the days of when Pete Carroll went to SC and he was able to build a program and keep those guys for 3-4 years and keep building around them as he went, right? And you have that powerhouse. It's going to change every year. So you're going to have to find a way to balance the ability to bring players and lose players every single year at a higher skill level and still maintain, running the way you want to, keeping that program consistently successful. I think this creates parity in college sports because I don't think there's any way for a team to really do that. I don't know how you do that. I mean, you're going to constantly be losing players.
It's happened in college basketball, and we've seen it. I know college basketball also has like their own thing where, you've got that one and done rule. But the fact that coaches in that sport can't build teams leads you to having, I think, a lot more upsets. So it's not a coincidence that when we started doing things this way, we got 16 seeds actually beating ones.
Right.
They are able to get talented enough players, through the transfer portal to be able to win. And then schools that are able to say, you know what, we're not even going to play that game. We're going to get 3 stars. We're going to get 4 stars, maybe even 2 stars, and develop them. Those guys stick around because there is a sense of loyalty for them. But
that
when you start talking, say it again.
That might be the way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you try and go after these 5 stars, though, like these guys want to be in the NFL. And if anything looks like it's going to stop them from doing that, they're gone.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Wow. Text coming in. Bruno Baller says, so when do these college athletes start to get agents? I think it's already beginning, isn't it?
I don't think they can officially sign with an agent at this point. They can have advisors, but they can't have agents.
Well, that's what I mean. The advisors are around.
Yeah.
And you have so many players now where their parents act as their agent anyway,
which is scary.
It's like it is scary. It's horrifying. But they act as their agents, and so like you technically have one, even if they're not officially your agent. But when you're going pro, like in the case of Caleb Williams, his dad has a lot of influence over what teams get to see from him and hear from him and all of that. And Lamar Jackson, his mom is his agent. Like that, there's a whole aspect of this that like, you know, it's changing a lot. So like, can you hire an agent? Not officially, yes. But like Ralph said, you've got advisors, but also parents really do act in that role too now.
Yeah, parents, and they're also talking to people too. 888-368-1580. We got a new texter here on the text line. So, yo, it's Rodney Johnson here. Heard you talking about ASU hockey. They weren't even ranked this year and had only one upset. Does that mean one loss, or they upset only one team?
I think that's what that means.
They only upset one team. Well, maybe they had a down season this year, but I'll tell you what, ASU hockey's program, ASU's hockey program is pretty damn good. And Ralph
they were 24-8-6 this year.
24-8-6. I mean, says Ralph.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's,
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, they beat Yale. I mean, they beat some big programs too.
Didn't they
Colorado
beat
College? They beat.
Yeah.
Geez. Let me see. They beat Harvard.
only upset one team. Bear down. Oh, please.
Okay, now
We got
now
a U of A fan.
Yeah,
Here we go.
No, that's so you're basically just
Here
delusional.
we go.
We could have just started there. You should have just.
Here we go.
you
Here
should've
we
just,
go.
I was going to say ASU has. A great
welcome to
hockey
the program, Rodney Johnson. Maybe I should just make your texter name Rodney Johnson.
Yeah, she has a 7-11 winning percentage. Never down here. That's good. Oh, they beat Arizona 16-0. That's what he's mad about.
Yeah. I wouldn't have brought that up. We didn't know about that. Do you know how long we're going to hold that over your head?
16 goals in a hockey game.
Forever. Oh, no.
Rodney says, my bad, fellas. Love the program. Love you too. And thanks for listening.
You've made a terrible mistake. Bear down to this 16 zip.
I've never seen
Bear
16 goals.
Bear TF down 1608 bleep. We let them win. Okay.
We let them
All
win.
right.
You let them win.
All right.
Yeah,
I got you.
Did you put a bunch of U
Maybe
of A
that's the new-
jerseys on turnstiles?
Wait, I'm looking at the roster. I'm looking at the roster and Rodney's on
maybe that's Rodney's texter name now. Is we let them win, something like that.
Do they need to teach reading comprehension so the hockey team gets on the right bus?
And then he says,
You
"What
didn't show up
happened
to
in
the game at that point?
What happened in basketball? Wow, it's just he's like text bombing me now.
What happened in basketball? Yeah, no,
Ladies
you
and
no.
gentlemen.
You don't get to change the subject to basketball now. You open this can of worms and you're going to have to eat it.
Well, they got
Let's
knocked out
stick
in the
with
second
hockey.
round, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't. I mean, in basketball, you didn't really
What are you talking about?
do anything
Hefty,
in your tournament.
Hefty Lefty says U of A has a hockey team? Question mark.
They do, but they wear figure skates from what I'm saying.
And Rodney, our new friend Rodney says, I'm closing the can. I'm closing the can now.
That's not how cans work. It's not a bottle. That's not how cans work.
Can's open forever.
Cans open.
All right. 888-368-1580. It's a Friday edition of the Daily Blender. So one of the sad things I saw this past week was Golden State losing. And I was watching the game and I was thinking about how many times has Golden State been in the championships? How many times have you seen Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond and the rest of those blokes there in Golden State walking around as champions? And then all of a sudden I look at this team, boy, they were downtrodden. And after the game, there was a certain air of defeat in the press conference. And it led me to believe, like, wow, we have just seen the end of truly. It was a marvel of a basketball organization for some time. I mean, Steph Curry wasn't supposed to be the superstar that he is. Klay Thompson wasn't supposed to be the superstar that he is. Draymond Green was supposed to be the outstanding player. And yet these three guys combined and won, 4 championships together? Was it 5 or 4?
It was 4. It was 4.
And then as you see the news kind of trickle out today, Klay Thompson is going to be a free agent. Now, Klay Thompson had a chance to sign an extension with Golden State last year and decided he was going to bet on himself. And boy, his play surely didn't help him get a bigger contract. But I mean, hindsight is always 20/20. The woulda, shoulda, coulda. He should have signed the extension. He could have signed the extension but he decided he's going to be a free agent. And I don't think Golden State's going to bring him back. So let's start there. Is Klay Thompson coming back to Golden State next season? Start with you, Ralph.
No, I mean, I think he's gone. I think like every great team that has its run, I could think of all the Celtic teams, the Laker teams, the Bulls. I mean, all of them. It comes to an end, right? It's just the reality of it. It has to come to an end, and they're at the end, and it is what it is. And now we'll see what they can do as a franchise to get into the next, great team that they can put together. And it could take 10 years to do that, but I think we're seeing the demise of this great team that was together for years, that won 4 titles, that I think should have won more titles, but had some issues with injuries and other things. But what a great run. And it's time to just, realize it was what it was and move on. I mean, so yeah, I think you'll see him leave. I think you'll see others start just kind of, tearing apart, and maybe they'll start bringing in a younger roster in as they go. But it happens to all of them. This is what happens. So it is what it is.
So Warriors general manager Bob Myers said he has a great reverence for Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and Draymond Green, which begs the question, after what we've seen today or this season, Keon, is Draymond coming back to the Golden State Warriors, or is his run there done?
Well, I'll answer your first question. I think Klay is coming back, in large part because I think that you can find he's not a starter anymore. He has to just acknowledge that. B, the number has to be right. You're not paying him starter money. He's going to be paid like a bench guy. And 3, I think that Klay's been humbled a little bit, and like they're just not that many places. Like if he's willing to come off the bench and be an elder statesman veteran type for some other team, then good for him. Get that done. But at that point, I think you should just stay in Golden State, take the pay cut, and try and at least end your career on this team in front of the fans that still like love you and care about you, even though Father Time has not treated you well. The Achilles injury, the knee injuries for Klay, like those things have just slowed him down. And,
0 for 6 in the last game.
Yeah. Now Draymond, I know he's not coming back. He is.
You know that for sure.
I don't know it as a fact. I just it's a strong feeling that I have that he will not be returning, because I've been reading a lot about what people in that organization think about Draymond, and he's run his course there. It's just too much volatility. It's too much having to have this veteran that's supposed to guide other players that you actually have to babysit, because he could lose his head at any moment and cost you a basketball game, sometimes key basketball games. And he himself considered retiring this past season. Maybe he just goes and does that. Like there's a lot of different ways that Draymond could not be a Warrior, and I think that all of them are more likely than him coming back. So
Steph Curry's 36. Could this be the end of the road for Steph Curry? Does he go one more extension?
He probably goes one more extension. It's not going to be a big one, but they're a loyal group of people in that building, and what Steph has done, it's probably going to be more of a career kind of payout, the way that the Lakers kind of did with Kobe at the end, where it's like, look, dude, you're a legend. You leave on your own terms whenever you're ready, and here's the deal for you. Because I just don't see how you let Steph walk away. That guy is the face of the organization. I don't think anybody gave a crap about the Golden State Warriors until he emerged. So that you got to find a way to keep him. But they've been trying to get younger too. A lot of people have mocked them for maybe not going all in on building around the current roster, because they tried to use their draft picks to get younger guys and see if they can find somebody else to carry the torch after Steph.
So I see, Ralph, you're kind of, it looks like you want to say something. What is it?
Well, I don't, I'm looking at their roster too, and I'm just sitting. Klay Thompson could probably go get some more money somewhere else, if I had to guess. Draymond Green, I agree 100%. I mean, I think he needs to just retire. He's a nut job. Steph Curry is Kobe-esque, and he'll leave on his own terms, and I think he'll be around for a few more years. Chris Paul needs to go and just give it up. He's never going to get a ring.
But the thing is with Chris Paul,
he already said he's not retiring. Chris Paul is already
he's not getting a ring. I think he's got 2 more years left, and they are paying him. Whoever is paying him will be paying him a lot. So he's not leaving.
And he has a place somewhere, maybe as a role player, maybe with a team that's right there. The Warriors aren't. The Warriors will never see. They're not going to see the championship again under the Curry regime. I don't think. I think that's over. I just think it's done. These guys have run their course. So it's time to start thinking about the future. And I think the Warriors have to start looking at it too. You don't want to make the mistake the Lakers made where they hung on to Kobe forever and ever. And Kobe was great in 2012, 2010, that era. But as he kept going, it was time for him to go. He had to retire. It was time. And Steph's going to come to that point where it's going to be just time for him to go. And they're going to need to focus on getting the next big 2, big 3 that they're going to find and starting to rebuild this thing.
And they found one of those guys, I think, in Jonathan Kuminga. I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't know where
He's
in the
21,
pecking order he's going to be. Yeah, this is only his 3rd season. He was averaging 16 points a game on an offense that did not feature him at all. I think there's something there.
So what about Andrew Wiggins? What about him? Is he the future?
No,
he's a role player
of Golden State.
No, first, I don't think. I think he's first off. I think he's too old to be the future of any team. He's a really, really solid role player. Former number 1 overall pick, so the talent is there, but he just never consistently got it. Dealt with a lot of injuries this season, and I think he was missing games with a lot of personal issues as well. So I just, the guy's 28. If he was more consistent, I could see them trying, and they did take a risk on him, and it did pay off because he helped them win a title, in 21-22 that season. So they've gotten their money's worth from Wiggins, but he's not a future player. You don't build around that.
I think Mike Dunleavy and Warriors coach Steve Kerr seem to echo what you guys were just saying. They probably are not solidly committed to keeping Andrew Wiggins, but moving on. Sorry, Ralph, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you see someone like maybe a Klay Thompson winding up with a team like the Suns?
I don't see why not. I don't think it would be a bad thing.
Not?
Because again,
he was 0 for 6 in his last
one game.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, there's a little bit of Steve Kerr and Klay Thompson. They've worked together for a long time, so Steve will let Klay do things that I don't think any other coach would.
Right.
No coach is going to stand there and let a guy go 0 for 6 and leave him out on the floor like that. That's something that can only happen because he's playing with a team that respects him as the player that they've homegrown.
I kind of look at him as I think back when the Lakers. When they had Robert Horry, right? He was that guy that veteran presence that would come off the bench and just hit those big shots. I mean, he wasn't, you didn't lean on him to do, 20 points a night, but he'd come in and just give you those big shots and give you that lift. And Klay could be that guy on another team.
Yeah, and coming off the bench, and again, for the right number. You don't want to overpay for him.
Agreed.
But if he's cheap, if it's not going to cost you anything, I just don't see why not.
All right. So we've got more more NBA news to talk about when we come back. Also, your text at 888-368-1580. It's a daily blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/WWO to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/WWO and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details.
You're expanding your business and need to add to your fleet. Maybe you need another semi-truck or trailer. Don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used trucks and trailers. Whether you're an owner-operator or a fleet manager, I'll get the vehicles you need with a simple application and same-day approval. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353 or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
It's election time. Make your vote count. Register to vote or check your voter registration by going to arizona.vote. Remember, elections are run at the local level by your friends and neighbors, and there are safeguards in place every step of the way to ensure your vote is counted accurately and securely. For more information and updates, visit arizona.vote, your trusted source of election information. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Secretary of State's office.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
It's a Daily Blender on Friday as we head for 6 o'clock tonight. Jeffrey O'Brien out today. He'll be back Monday. You've got Keon Rose, Ralph Romano, and Randy White as we are marching towards 6 o'clock tonight. Of course, you, the fourth dimension, at 888-368-1580. From last hour, Harry says, Boom Shakalaka was the Great Greek's name. No, I don't. That was the Boom Shakalaka. That was the guy from the Iowa State Shockers, wasn't it? Who was the Shockers? Who was Boom Shakalaka? That wasn't the Great Greek. The Great Greek's from Maine, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember if that's a name.
Boom Shakalaka. That was somebody else. Seems like to me. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember all. If you start throwing nicknames around like 3 days after the thing, like I just don't remember.
Well, we're drunk most of the time, and that's why we don't remember things.
I mean,
so
sober, I don't remember.
The Great Greek also said from last hour, thank you, Mr. White. Why does everybody call me Mr.?
Well, because you're Mrs.
Well,
unless you identify as one.
You could just say Randy.
Yeah, you could just say Randy. It's bad enough that I'm old. Why make me feel older? The Great Greek. It's Randy to you, Jack. Salty Blue. Apparently on the text line. Since we started today, I don't know why I've missed these, but yo, Salty Blue here. ASU hockey done upset. Weren't even ranked this year. Our whole team was hurt, and Pigeon Vision wasn't playing. I don't know.
Okay.
The hell that means. I've been a hockey fan my whole life. Have you ever heard of Pigeon Vision?
No.
Thanks, Salty Blue. By the way, you don't have to mention that you're Salty Blue. It comes right up here on the thing here, on the app. Bruno Baller says ASU hockey actually has a local radio station that broadcasts their games. That's a solid program. What? It's a good thing you didn't mention any call letters there. That would have been a permanent timeout for you, Jack. Tiger Paul says, if hockey doesn't belong in the desert, then what about Florida, Tennessee, and Texas? What about them?
Well, the team, at least one of the teams in Texas is very much in a desert. And then Florida is swamp and ocean. That's not exactly hockey.
Not hockey weather.
So when people say, can't have hockey in the desert, there are multiple places. Los Angeles is a desert. They have the Kings. Like, what are we doing?
Kings, Ducks, Sharks.
It's next to a desert.
It's not okay, but warm enough that hockey isn't naturally played there. You have to go find it, and still they were able to grow the sport. They're able to put together a good team, championship teams. So if hockey can be played next to a desert and in at least one other city that is a desert and in the swamp, I'm pretty sure that hockey can survive in Arizona.
Absolutely.
Navy Devil, speaking of hockey in Arizona, says that U of A goalie must have had to drink gallons of water to stay hydrated after all those goals went by. No, I think he's got a permanent twitch now. Every time he comes around a corner, he just twitches. So many shots on goal. He has nightmares about it. He wakes up twitching in his sleep. Oily Stool says, sorry, Ken. Sorry, Ralph.
I'm going to know all the details of this game by the time.
I know. I want to look into it more now because I'm sure when that guy sees an ASU sign or says ASU to him, he probably screams. So
he jumps 10 feet in the air.
Yeah. He sees maroon and gold anything. It's just like over. Oily Stool says, Keon, any chance that Klay Thompson ends up in Utah? I'm a big Utah Jazz fan. We're not talking to Utah people today, Oily Stool. Wow. We're not talking to him today, so there won't be an answer to your question today. A retext on Monday when the pain goes away. Hamilton Porter says, so they traded away Jordan Poole, who's young for Draymond, and just to drop him the year after. Well, they had to trade away Jordan Poole, otherwise Draymond was going to continually hit him in the mouth.
And
it's like every time he saw him, he hit him.
He wasn't the same player after. And even in Washington, it took him, I don't know, 70% of the season to start to look like the Jordan Poole that they gave that big contract to. You had to choose a guy, because you can't have a bad locker room. You're just not going to be able to function when, you've got two guys in the locker room that genuinely hate each other. And look, Jordan Poole said some very disrespectful things to Draymond. Still don't think he deserved to be knocked unconscious at practice, but he did say some things that were on the line. And then Draymond
dropped him like a sack of potatoes there on the court.
And that was the locker room. So you had to move one of the two guys, and Draymond's the one that's been there and helped you get championships before. So that's the guy you stick with. I think moving Jordan Poole for Chris Paul is kind of a loss. But the contracts matched, and they thought Chris Paul might have a little bit to offer them, at least as a backup point guard, which he didn't.
Hefty Lefty says, watch Steph get 3 years, 150. I think Steph still has over $100 million in 2 years left on his contract. I think I read that today. It is 1227, which you still need a texter name. 1227, our friendly U of A hockey fan says Wiggins is a draft bust.
I mean, yeah, but we're at this point in his career where just because someone is a bust doesn't mean that they leave the league. Like they still have a role. It's just they were overvalued. And with Wiggins, the mental side, the side of that has this motor that can always keep going and play at a high level, he was getting compared to LeBron, sadly, coming out into that draft, and it was never fair. But he just doesn't have LeBron's work ethic. It's not even close. To be fair, a lot of people don't have that work ethic, but Wiggins really didn't. And so the physical abilities that he has, which are tremendous, he wasn't able to take advantage of. He's a role player. That's the mentality that he has. That's how he plays. So yeah, you don't build around him. But the fact that he's a bust, yeah, he's just overvalued. It's not like the guy tried to suck. He just didn't have the motor and wasn't that effective.
Big George on the text line says, Ralph, don't you think the Lakers are just like the Lakers under Kobe, hanging on too long to an aging superstar in LeBron James? Same goes with Anthony Street Clothes Davis.
No, not at all. I mean, if you look at LeBron James, he's still one of the top scorers in the league, top performers in the league. So no, and Anthony Davis is one of the top 5 best players in the league, in my opinion. And he's been healthy all year for the most part. So no, I think those are two amazing players that they're not hanging on to. And I think they've done a good job putting pieces around them this year for the first time. So no, I don't.
We have another new texter on the text line at 888-368-1580. The 3508 says, have a great weekend. Well, thank you. You too. Randy, what's a sleeper team to bet on to get to World Series? Keon, what's a good team besides Celtics and Nuggets to win finals? Ralph, D-backs winning World Series best moment ever because of what your country was going through that year. 3 questions, 3 different people.
One text. So he's saying that his vote is for the D-backs. That's what I guess.
Well, he says, Ralph, D-backs winning World Series best moment ever because of what our country was going through that year.
I'm going to put that down as a vote. We're going to count it.
All right, that's one. That's one, whoever you are at 3508. We need to text her name for you. Keon, go ahead. What's a good team besides Celtics and Nuggets to win finals?
Well, it's gonna be some other team in the Western Conference. First of all, like I just look at the rest of the East, and it's kind of a joke. Not the Lakers. The Clippers are a team that
I agree there.
They stay healthy. I don't know what anyone's supposed to do with that. I'm genuinely. I think every other team in the Western Conference, including the defending champion Denver Nuggets, should all be somewhat concerned about the Clippers. That is a genuine problem. And they're healthy and they're rested. They have one of the best coaches in basketball in Ty Lue. Look out for the Clippers.
And then finally, we found out this is Bat Flipper from Texas. Bat Flipper coming back on the show. Welcome back, Bat Flipper. I'll change your name here in just a second, and we'll get you up there. Randy, what's a sleeper team to bet on to get to the World Series? Wow, that is a loaded question. Yeah. I mean, last year, nobody expected the Diamondbacks to go to the World Series, and yet there they were. Nobody expected the Texas Rangers to go to the World Series, and yet there they were.
And
I think it's difficult.
About the Orioles even making the playoffs and the run they had.
And the Orioles currently in second place in the American League East. The Kansas City Royals are in second place in the Central, in the AL Central. The Anaheim Angels are in second place in the AL West. The Pirates are in second place in the NL Central. And I don't know, boy. I tell you who I think one team that I like from the beginning of the season is the Detroit Tigers. They got hitting and they got pitching. And they've got some young talent, and they've got a World Series winning manager. So I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series. I am not saying that.
They're going to make noise.
But I think the Detroit Tigers are a team to really keep your eye on this season.
And I think you actually said that before the season even started.
I did.
Yeah.
I was reading a lot about Detroit, and they've got a young stud pitching staff, and they've got some sluggers on the team. And I got to tell you, the Detroit Tigers, to me, are a team to keep your eye on this baseball season. Boom Shakalaka says, I'm from Kansas. Yeah, I know. Somebody, Hurry Harry, said that you were a guy from Maine playing hockey or a part of the Maine hockey team.
Yeah,
and I named him the Great Greek. And it wasn't you, but Hurry Harry said it was you. And so I cleared your name of any of that East Coast stuff. I said you were from Kansas. There you go. Or Iowa. Did I say Iowa? It's all the same, right?
You said Kansas.
Some flat state with nothing to do.
Flyover state.
Yeah. Wow. With all due respect to Kansas.
Well, Jason Aldean showing up on the show today, huh?
Nothing wrong with Kansas.
Yeah. Bruno Baller says Las Vegas is a desert. They have a Stanley Cup over there too.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Yeah, they do. What do you think about Ralph? I want to ask you.
Okay.
We're several years away here. Is the NHL going to expand?
Yes, they will.
Will they expand more than more than two teams?
No, I think it'll be two teams.
And will one of them end up here in Phoenix?
Yes, Arizona will get a team again. You have to have a team here. It's needed. This is a huge city that has a good sports fan base that needs a hockey team, and they just didn't have the right facilities. And I guess the NHL wasn't willing to wait for that to happen. So they will, and we'll get a team again. You'll see. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind.
There you have it. When we come back, I've got some NFL news. We've got a new game we want to play, True or Not True. It's a new game sweeping the country, and I will be the MC, and Ralph and Keon will be the contestants on True or Not True. That's around the corner on this edition of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hey, everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends at the Lund Mortgage Team. Did you know that the Lund Mortgage Team was founded back in 1999? That's right. They're celebrating 25 years in existence this year. And you know what you have to do to stay in business that long? You have to be good at what you do. And the Lund Mortgage Team is not just good, they are great. They have helped thousands of people save thousands of dollars over those 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They only lend in Arizona. And they're mortgage brokers, which means they can shop your rate around. They're not tied to just one set of rates. Mortgage rates can get crazy. They can get high. They can get low. There's good times to strike and there's times to stay on the sideline. Let the Lund Mortgage Team be your coach, be your team leader when it comes to these huge decisions. Call 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940, or you can always check them out at lundmortgage.com. Great website with all the tools you need. Call them today. They're my great friends, and you'll love them. It's the Lund Mortgage Team.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I got to fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code 2024 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code 2024 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code 2024 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code 2024.
Before becoming a professional announcer, I took the announcer oath, which forbids me from misleading listeners.
Just wrap your heads around the reality of that.
That means I speak the truth when I say you can listen to us on your smart speaker. Just say, listen to 1580 The Fanatic.
Oh, man, we're halfway home. Time flying by here on this Friday edition of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. Right over there, that's Keon Rose. Alongside him, the sexiest man in the solar industry, that's Ralph Romano. My name is Randy White. And we are heading towards 6 o'clock here on this edition of the Daily Blender. Jeffrey O'Brien, never fear, we'll be back Monday. We'll be back Monday. And you are texting in the fourth dimension at 888-368-1580. That's the text line. And ladies and gentlemen, I have come up with another wonderful game, sweeping the country. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new game called True or Not True. Today, our contestants will answer either true or not true on questions that I have asked them, and they have to be knowledgeable about these questions. Let's just hope they are. Playing today is Keon Rose, ladies and gentlemen, representing 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Representing Harmon Solar and the Weekend Warriors, it's Ralph Romano. All right, guys, let's get going on this edition of True or Not True. Like the music?
It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good.
It's very game show, but it's suave. I like it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So today's questions are concerning the NFL draft. The NFL draft.
Okay.
You will have exactly 20 seconds to answer the question, whether it's true or not true. And if you hear this, you must automatically stop answering.
Okay.
You'll probably never hear this, but he was just saying.
I feel I will, but okay.
I talk too much. I feel like I'll definitely hear it a couple times, but
really, that's mostly for Keon.
yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, like I know.
I mean,
I can't shut up, but I've got some self-awareness.
And there it is. So keep that in mind if you hear that. All right, here it is. Our first question: true or not true? The Los Angeles Rams should consider taking a quarterback in this draft. Keon.
Yeah, true. Do I get to explain why as well, or
yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
no,
yeah. No,
until you hear this, you just go ahead and keep talking.
Yeah, I think the Rams should consider taking a quarterback. I don't think they should reach for one in the first round, maybe even the second, but like at least have some kind of project to work on and see, moving forward if there's somebody that you can develop into a starting caliber quarterback to replace Matthew Stafford eventually.
Very good, Keon. Oh, we had some time left on the clock. Ralph Romano from Harmon Salt. That doesn't mean you could start answering again, Keon. Sorry.
No, I was just surprised.
True or not true? The Los Angeles Rams should consider taking a quarterback.
True for everything he just said. I mean, I can't say anything else. He's exactly right. They need to start developing somebody. So, and there's some good later round guys. I like this draft. So absolutely true.
All right. Wow. Both you guys adhering to the rules. Okay. Very good.
We don't want to get beeped.
True or not true? JJ McCarthy will fall to the New York Giants. Ralph.
Not true. Because I think that the Vikings will mistakenly do everything they can to trade up to get this bust. I just think he's a bust. He's a clipboard Jesus at best. And he's not a top round pick.
Oh, jeez. All right, Keon. True or not true?
I will also say not true. You're going to probably make fun of me considering my mock draft later, but I'm going to say not true because I agree with Ralph. I think that they are going to trade up, either the Vikings or the Broncos, who are also impossibly desperate for a quarterback. One of those two teams is going to make a mistake and trade up for a guy that there's just not enough information on how good he is. And if I can't know I've got a guy who can jump in and be a day one starter, I'm not taking you with a top 5 pick.
So JJ McCarthy will not fall to the New York Giants, according to you guys.
Even if the Giants take him, I think the Giants would have to trade up to do it.
Very well. True or not true? None of the teams considering trading up for a quarterback should do it. Keon.
Not true. I think that if you're thinking of trading up for JJ McCarthy from 11 to 4 or 5, you shouldn't do that. But if you're a team that's, a little bit later, in the first round, early in the second round, and you want to jump up and see if you can grab a Michael Penix, a Bo Nix, one of those guys that may be down at that point, then yeah, I think you should. They're quality guys. They've got skill sets that you can use to build on, and they've got tools that translate at the NFL level. They're just going to need some time to cook a little bit, and so you don't start them year one. But yeah, I think if you like one of those guys, it wouldn't be insane to go up and take one of them.
Well,
I agree with Keon. I was going to say the exact same thing. I think the top 3 is set. I don't think that's going to change. As much as I'd like to see Caleb go to the Commanders, I don't think he will. But I do think it makes sense to trade up in the later rounds for a guy like Penix or Nix, because I think personally that either one of those guys could turn out to be a heck of a quarterback. And I think both of those guys are probably going to be better than JJ McCarthy. So that's just my opinion.
All right. Very good. Next question. True or not true? Malik Neighbors and Latu Latu. How'd you like a name like that?
No.
Are supremely underrated. Ralph.
It's true or not true? Can I have one in the middle where it says I have no opinion?
Got beat.
The answer is no. Judges say no. Sorry.
True. They're highly overrated. No
Really?
reason why.
No reason why.
But the
I really
question
don't have
was, but are they supremely underrated?
Are they underrated?
Are they supremely underrated?
I'd say that's.
I'm sorry, sir. You can't answer anymore. Go ahead, Keon.
Wow.
Well, I have to separate them because I think Neighbors is accurately rated. He's
Well,
just
they're
an-
not conjoined twins. I don't know why you have to separate them.
okay. Well, because just for the question, I think Neighbors.
Oh, I see.
I think Neighbors is accurately rated. So he's not underrated. It's just a deep wide receiver draft. If people have Marvin Harrison, Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors, like that's not crazy. Like all three of those guys are number one wide receiver tier. It's just one of them can only be the first pick. But with Latu, I think Latu is very underrated. He's not explosive, so I don't think that he's getting all of the attention that a guy like maybe Jared Verse is getting. But when you look at Latu and what he can do, he's got a lot of knowledge of the game. He plays mentally. He's able to outsmart and outwit tackles. That's a great skill set. He's going to beat a lot of people in the league.
All right. True or not true, this quarterback class will have 6 players go in round 1. Keon.
6 of which player go in round 1?
This quarterback class will have 6 players go in round 1. Caleb Williams is going to go. Jaden Daniels is going to go.
Mm-hmm. Drake May is going to go. I'm going to say not true.
Wow.
Because I do think that Williams, May, Daniels, and McCarthy are going in the first round. Maybe Penix or Nix at some point also in the first. I just think 6 is a lot to ask for a first round, especially.
It's like 5 right there. I mean,
yeah. So it's right on the line, but I just think this is a deep interior offensive line draft. It's a good tackle draft. It's a good corner draft. It's a great wide receiver draft. Like teams are going to draft for their needs so that not everybody's jumping at a quarterback. I think this time around, I think a lot of teams are going to wait in the second round to see if they can get one of these other guys that could be the 6th in a thinner draft at other places.
All right, Ralph.
I say not true. I think that only 3 guys are going to go in the first round.
Wow.
Personally, I think you'll have more quarterbacks taken in the second round than in the first round. I think some of these first round guys, once you get past the top 3, may sit and not do that. I don't know. I could 100% be wrong, but maybe a 4th goes somewhere like between 15 and 22. But I can see teams waiting on it and trying to see if they can get him in the second or third round. Guys like Penix, guys like Nix, maybe thinking they might still be there.
I do think that I agree with you that 3 guys should go in the first. 4 are going at least.
Yeah, you're right.
Because someone's taking McCarthy. Like,
what?
We don't like him the way they do for whatever reason, but somebody's taking him.
You're right. I'm sorry. I need to bank on the Viking stupidity. They're going to probably make it 4. So because the Viking ownership and leadership is that stupid, they'll take JJ McCarthy. So there will be 4.
Cue the text from
just putting up the bat signal for Donnie.
But I think the guys like Penix and Nix, I think you can see those guys wind up going in the second round, early in the second round, but I think they might hold over to the second round.
All right. True or not true? We still have time. The Buffalo Bills should not draft a wide receiver. True or not true? Ralph. Keep in mind, Stephon Diggs gone.
It's true and not true because it depends.
No, I'm sorry. The judges say no. You have to go one or the other.
Well, not true because if there's a great receiver sitting there when they're ready to pick, or if they can move up a spot or 2 and grab somebody that could be a difference maker, then they should go after him. But it's all going to depend on what's going on in front of them and if it makes sense to move down or what. Again, I know they need one bad. But maybe they can get one in free agency. I have a big fear that someone like DK Metcalf could wind up getting traded on draft day, on one of the draft days, and go to a team like that really needs a guy. He would be an amazing fit in Buffalo.
Oh, if he ends up in Buffalo, wow.
Right. But I hope that never happens. But I think you could see stuff like that happening and how they fill their void.
Does Seattle want to move up to the Arizona spot? We'll take DK Metcalf.
No, Seattle has no desire to move up. But I think there's a lot of guys on rosters in the NFL today that are going to be very vulnerable to being traded on draft day.
All right. Keon, what's your answer? The Buffalo Bills should not draft a wide receiver on draft day.
Not true. I think that they absolutely should. You may not need to use a first rounder on a guy. Even you could go grab a guy in the second or third. Like, no, I don't think you have to reach at all. Guys that I think could wind up in the second round as receivers: Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, Ricky Pearsall. Like, these guys are all talented wide receivers. This is an insanely deep wide receiver draft. So you don't have to reach for a guy. So take somebody that might, replace what Stephon Diggs gave you, or at least give you that potential, and try and build your offense around that. But yeah, I think they should.
Well, that's it, guys. We made it through all the questions I had for you on our new game show that is sweeping the country, ladies and gentlemen. That's our first edition of True or Not True. See how the music just kind of fades out there. Anyway,
you missed one question.
What?
You missed a question.
What was that?
It's a question for you. True or not true?
What's that?
The Cardinals should draft Marvin Harrison.
No, I'm sorry. The judges have already spoken. I'm sorry. The music is over.
You need to answer that question.
Well, as I said it on the show, I think the Cardinals should draft Marvin Harrison Jr. And if not, they should go after Malik Neighbors. And the bottom line is, I feel like we need to bring some offensive help in here. Another target for little Kyler. But I mean,
fair.
That's just my. Are they going to, or are they going to use that to get more draft capital and go in the second and third rounds, or maybe multiple picks in the first round? I don't know. I have to trust my GM. So.
I feel because everybody thinks they're going to trade back that they won't.
You don't think they're going to trade back?
I think everyone's expecting them to, but I have a feeling unless somebody gives them something outrageous, I don't think they'll do it. Because I think he's an elite receiver in college, and he could be the next elite receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right about that. But is he like a lock at the 4 pick? Is this guy somebody? In my opinion, if you're going to pick a guy number 4 overall, he's got to be a franchise-changing guy.
I think he can be.
I think he is.
And I would be stunned if he fell past 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the Cardinals trade back and don't take him, like there's a good chance that someone jumps and tries to swap with the Chargers, or the Chargers themselves just can't believe Marvin Harrison Jr. is available and just take him.
Yeah, I believe all along that they should take him. I mean, it makes sense to me, but the Cardinals also need help, in other places too.
But they've got a bunch of picks. It's not.
I know. You're right. They need some interior offensive linemen too.
Yeah.
So and Keon and I have talked about. Well, Keon will talk. He's got his mock draft 3.0 coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, on this day in Big Georgia sports history, more of your texts, and I don't know what other kind of lunacy we've got going on. True or not true? I think it was a smash hit. The overnight ratings will come in, and we'll see if that is going to go on or not. But anyway, all right, a whole lot more. Daily Blender, 2 hours down, 1 more to go. It's almost the weekend, folks. Stay tuned for more Daily Blender after these messages. You're on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
Do you need equipment for your business but don't have the cash? I can help. I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital, and we offer no money down financing on new and used equipment. Excavators, forklifts, dozers, tractors, cranes, plows, and more. If it's essential to your business, I will help you get the money you need. It's faster and easier than asking your banker. Call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? Huh, you don't say. Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppable bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppable in wash scent beads.
80% of youth in Arizona don't drink, smoke, or use drugs. Want to know the reason why? It's you. Kids say not disappointing their parents is one of the main reasons they choose not to drink or use drugs. Visit talknowaz.com because while you might worry you aren't getting through, you are. Keep it up and stay up to date about the latest Arizona drug trends at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
KQFN Tempe, also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K2.4 Rolling Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
For what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
And welcome back, everybody, to the 5 o'clock hour of the Daily Blender on this Friday as we broadcast live from the palatial estates of the Harmon Solar Studios in beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Over there, the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio. That's Keon Rose. Next to him, the sexiest man in solar. That's Ralph Romano. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien out today. He'll be back on Monday. And you are the fourth dimension texting in at 888-368-1580. That's our text line, and that's how we keep the program moving. Now that I apologize, the text line has been acting wonky today. It's acting wonky. I can't seem to get the text when I need them. I get the thinky wheel, and then I get text like this. Can we wager on true or not true? If so, which app has Keon stomping Ralph? Wow.
Wow. That's aggressive.
Wow.
Really?
Then he says 8 equals. Then he says half. Not sure what Pinocchio's trying to say there. 8 equals and then half.
You know, I did get more beeps than Keon. I don't think he got any. I got 3.
I'm genuinely surprised by this.
You deserve the beeps. Just
you did try to answer in a game of true or not true.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because it should be called true or false, but I wasn't going to go there.
No, it's true or not true. I never said false. Never said false ever. I said true or not true. That's the name of the show.
Should have been false.
I came up with the game. It's sweeping the nation, and I make the rules up, my friend.
Okay.
Let's see here. Hamilton Porter. I think it's Hamilton Porter. If it's not your text, please forgive me. Hamilton Porter says, Boom Shakalaka is the commentator from NBA Jam. Boom Shakalaka. No, I think that was the call. I don't think that was the commentator. I don't think that was the commentator. When you're warming up or you're getting hot in the NBA Jam, one of you guys tell me, isn't it? If the guy drains one, Like I remember it going boom shakalaka right after he like drains like a he's hot.
Yeah.
Like, and the basket gets on fire and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. You're 100% correct.
And boom shakalaka. So Hamilton Porter also says so they traded away Jordan Poole, who's younger, for Draymond. Just drop Rob. I already read that one. See, I'm sorry. Let's see. Scottie Pippen's son just committed to Michigan to play basketball. God, I feel old.
It's just it continues. Guys, you know, I grew up watching are head coaches now. You know, LeBron's kids are starting to get into the league. It never ends. It never ends.
And then finally, Hamilton Porter says, might I suggest Kyler call his friends Dopey, Sneezy, Sleepy, Doc, and Grumpy for help? Speaking of boom shakalaka, I enjoyed the true or not true segment. I like hearing your insights on draft. I vote keep it for future sports topics. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to, when the overnight ratings come in, we'll have to see. Everything is, it's all about ratings. Oily Stool says, maybe next time you guys can play truth or dare. I dare Ralph to actually fire Neil. Wow.
Don't dare me. Don't dare that. It's
You're putting Neil's career in danger.
Yeah.
You know that?
Not a good career move for
Keon
Neil.
can't do 2 shows, otherwise he'd be gone.
Big George, for whatever reason, the sleepy. Is this another long text, Big George? I mean, the last one it was doing on this was you had like 4 paragraphs in your text. I'm not kidding you. I'm sitting here watching the spinning wheel of death on the text app right now, and I'm just waiting. Meanwhile, I go over to Navy Devil, and it loads right away. I don't know. Here's Navy Devil. The FAA is investigating Colorado Rockies hitting coach for sitting in the captain's chair and flying the team's charter flight. The captain let him. They were dumb enough to film it and put it online. The pilots are suspended.
Wow.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? See, that's the thing with these phones and all these people with phones and video and stuff. You just can't do anything. Meanwhile, back on George's text, Thinky Wheel of Death still going.
They should be investigating that guy for being a hitting coach, not flying a plane.
Yeah, clearly he's a better pilot than hitting coach. Okay, Big George finally loads here. Keon, the Clippers are never winning anything. Their history dictates that they won't win an NBA Finals, let alone win it. They won't win an NBA Finals, let alone win it.
In my life, Big George,
NBA Finals.
Big George, do you understand the irony of that sentence coming from you, a Cubs fan?
Wow.
Well,
supposed to never win anything, and then you finally do. You break through. And then you look at another organization and you're like, yep, that's the nature of that team. You, prior to the World Series your team won, hadn't the last time they won a World Series before that.
It's like when
the Ottoman
rocks were still
Empire,
cooling. Yeah.
The Ottoman Empire still existed. And I'm not saying that as like a joke. It literally still existed. It was ending, but it was there. All I'm saying is maybe have a little mercy to Clipper fans.
Is that where Ottomans come from? I'm not sure.
I don't.
Somebody help me out here.
I don't actually know. I don't know if I can tell you that one.
Big George also says, am I the only one who thinks Michael Penix Jr. is a better quarterback than McCarthy?
No, I think he is too.
I think he is as well.
I don't.
Yeah. And then Big George says, my texts are super short. Not sure why the Thinky Wheel is doing that. I just need to get a new phone number and start over from scratch. Wow, Big George, don't do it. Don't jump off that bridge, Big George. There's no reason to end it all. Think of your family. T. Whoas says, I think he will have death. Nope, here it is. Is Kyler's step stool the same size as Arpaio's at the podium? Asking for a friend. Arpaio. When's the last time he was in the news? Has he been in the news recently? Boy, we're dredging up Joe Arpaio's name for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. Hefty Lefty. Old Street Clothes played more games this season. Think he will of death. 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 Moving on.
He played more games this season. He averaged a double-double, 25 and 12. I think he did all right.
Yeah. I'll come back to you, Hefty Lefty, and try to finish. Bruno Baller says the thing about Phoenix is they'll draw fans from other teams too, like the Blackhawks. Their fans will go to the games when they're in town. You see a lot of Blackhawk fans. Well, yeah.
Not this year.
See a lot of Cub fans when the Cubs are here too. And the thing about Phoenix is, yes, it's a very diverse city.
It's a transplant retirement community. What do you expect?
Dare I say, it's a vibrant, cutting edge city, you Los Angeles man. Ringless Joe says, I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Morello himself is playing news outlets to spread the narrative that the Coyotes weren't supported by the fans. I don't think that did anybody say that? Is that what you guys have read? Because I haven't heard that anywhere.
I didn't hear that either. And in fact, I was reading a couple of stories about how heartless the sale was to the fans because they were supporting. So I've actually read the opposite. So if you got any articles on that, you can post it on
I
Twitter.
didn't see that. I didn't see that anywhere.
I didn't see it either.
I haven't heard from any of the news outlets or read that anywhere. So if you have a link to that, I'd love to see it. All right, 888-368-1580. There's a couple more on here, but I think it will have death. I just can't do this anymore. So before we get to the mock NFL draft, I have other NFL news I'd like to talk about. The Eagles and Packers, it's little known. I mean, it's well known that they'll be playing in Brazil this coming September. They're going to face off in the first regular season game this September. Both teams could be facing a major problem that has nothing to do with traveling to the game, traffic congestion, or field conditions. There's a possibility neither the Eagles nor the Packers will be able to wear their home uniforms because of the color green. You see, the game being played in Sao Paulo will be played at Corinthians Arena, which is home to the Brazilian soccer team, Corinthians. The biggest rival for the Corinthians is Palmeiras, who wear the color green. And because of that, there is a formal ban on wearing the color green in the stadium of the Brazilian soccer team.
Ban on who?
A ban on anyone wearing any sort of green. A Brazilian soccer team actually prevented somebody from, and they fined them for wearing green soccer cleats.
Wow.
Because they said there are signs around the stadium stating the color of green is forbidden to be worn in the stadium.
Okay, so aside from how absolutely stupid these international games are.
Oh my God, Keon, don't go. No, you can't go then. We're not sending you to Brazil, man.
Nobody. I mean, I've already been to South America, not Brazil.
No, you can't go.
I'm good here. So anyway, look,
we're trying to protect you from yourself.
Look, I didn't plan on going. I'll be honest. So nobody bothered to do the research, because if there are signs all over the building, you know, when you're sending a team there, if it's this important of a rule, you make the phone call, you're going back and forth, and either they didn't bother to say, hey, if your teams are wearing green, no, they can't. Or the NFL didn't bother to say any traditions, any customs, anything that we need to know. Because like when the NBA, or not even the NBA, when Team USA played a FIBA game down in Brazil, you know, there was a time where everybody was kind of doing like the 3-point goggle celebration where you make goggles out of the 3-point thing with their hands. But that actually has a different meaning in Brazil. And so they asked around and found out and let players know, don't do that, because you're basically saying F you to a lot of people if you do that.
Oh boy.
So, but they did the research, so they knew that already. What's going on here? How do you manage to get this far into the process to where you've actually already scheduled the game? And now you're finding out that two teams whose primary color is green can't wear green.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And they have green. Eagles and Packers. Yeah.
You know, the other team famous for wearing green. What is happening?
Even their name, Green Bay Packers. I don't think you can even say Green Bay. So it's the Wisconsin Packers will take on the Philadelphia Eagles.
You could do some alternate, uniform stuff, but there's still going to be green. The Packers helmets are still going to be green. There's still going to be green trim on the black Eagles uniform that they wear sometimes. Like, what are you supposed to do? A guy couldn't wear cleats and he played for the team and they fined him.
This could be an absolute chaotic scene in Brazil, in the stadium there, the Corinthians Stadium. Absolute chaos. We will keep you abreast of the situation. Easy, moist one. 888-368-1580. So apparently, NCAA it came out with some rule amendments today. Keon, you see this? They're going to go ahead and put radios in the helmets.
Yeah. They were talking about it, and I guess they
have approved it,
made it official. It's about time. It doesn't for so many reasons. One, I just think that the card thing obviously lent itself to sign stealing. How could it not? It's a literal sign that you show the field and can be seen from the other side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, sign stealing is inevitable if you do something like that. But I actually think more importantly, it makes the college game more like the NFL game. There's a lot of verbiage in the NFL game. You have these plays that are like 16 words, and each word is telling you something about where people should be lined up, where you can expect to throw, what your offensive line is supposed to be doing, which side your formation is set to. Like, there's a bunch of stuff there, and these guys don't learn it until they get to the NFL because, they don't huddle. They are in shotgun. Everybody stands up and looks at the sideline, and then they go. That's too simple for an NFL offense. These defenses will figure it out very quickly if you play like that. So an NFL offense has to be more complicated, but the college offense can't keep up. So you get a bunch of guys coming into the league that can't do that. That's not fair to them, I don't think. So yeah, I like this all the way around.
All right. They also approved a 2-minute warning. Are you happy about that, Ralph?
They approved a 2-minute warning?
2-minute warning.
Yeah,
college football.
Again, I think they need to do everything they can to mimic the NFL game. You're supposedly getting players ready for that game, so we need to start doing more of those things. It's just like I think they need to change the rule about inbounds catches needs to be 2 feet down, not one. Let's start changing it to mimic it even more.
All right.
I will miss SpongeBob on the sidelines because I enjoyed that card.
No, it is too bad. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean,
I
agree with it.
That is too bad. All right, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. You've been waiting for it. I know all show you've been waiting for this. And right now, we're going to go ahead and do it. It's time for Keon Rose's mock draft 3.0. Keon, take it away.
And every time we do the mock draft, we get just a little bit further. So we'll see how it goes this time. I'll try and be a litlittle bit quick with the part of the draft up top where I think we know things are going. Like number 1. The Bears taking quarterback Caleb Williams out of USC. It's really not a debate.
Nothing changes there.
No, I don't need to really talk about all the things Caleb Williams can do at this point. We've seen it all. We know it all. The guy's just an amazing talent who can do just about anything you ask a quarterback to do on a football field. Number 2, I've got the Commanders taking Drake May. I personally am a Jaden Daniels guy. I like Jaden Daniels, but this isn't about me. I've been reading some things about Jaden Daniels' agent and how he's not particularly happy with the Commanders right now. So they've got that going on. You've got the fact that Drake May is kind of seen as neck and neck and potentially has the highest ceiling of all the guys in this draft not named Caleb Williams. Number 3, the Pats are going to be taking Jaden Daniels and liking it because that's what's left. And you knew at this point you're going to be taking the next guy available. And that's going to be Jaden Daniels. I think we saw the Heisman Trophy campaign that he had at LSU, the deep ball accuracy, the ability to throw to the sideline, the mobility, everything. Again, Jaden Daniels is a person, I think he's been talked about enough. Everybody knows who he is. Number 4, because they do not do trades, I got the Arizona Cardinals taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't make it hard. Don't overthink it. The guy can absolutely ball. He made a quarterback at Ohio State that was not good look better than he was for long enough to deceive Ohio State into thinking they actually had a chance to win a national title this year. So if you could do that at the college level, at the NFL level, we pair you with a Kyler Murray who throws a great deep ball. I think he still shows that he has that, coming off of the injury last year. And I think Kyler's best seasons were always whenever he had, somebody he could throw the ball to in a scramble drilled situation, just push the ball downfield. And Marvin Harrison makes quarterbacks look good. Number 5, I've got the Chargers taking Joe Alt. I think that Harbaugh likes to build from the trenches. There are wide receivers available that would be really helpful for him. But I think that his style has always been build from the inside out, use the run game. And he's going to do that there. You get a hell of a tackle in Joe Alt coming out of Notre Dame. He's, in terms of just having a high IQ, he's incredibly intelligent as a football player, very strong too. Couldn't really ask for more than what Joe Alt gives you there.
Is he strong like Bull?
He is strong like Bull.
Okay.
Absolutely. Number 6, I got the Giants taking JJ McCarthy. This is a function of my personal mock draft where I don't have trades. I actually think that someone's going to jump up and take JJ. But if that weren't to happen, I think the Giants would just sit there and look at JJ McCarthy falling into their lap. And now you've got some Daniel Jones insurance in the event that you want to rid yourself of him. And I think that they do. I got the number 7, the Titans taking Olu Fashanu, the tackle from Florida State. He is strong like Bull. Fashanu is incredibly powerful. He plays angry and mean, which are all things that I want to hear an offensive lineman be. And I just don't see how the Titans pass on this. They plan on running the football a lot this season. That's not going to change. Derrick Henry's gone. They're still running the football. That's just the Titans and how they're built. Their GM Rand Carthen, that's what he loves to do. Number 8, I've got the Falcons, and the Falcons have been paired with either Fashanu or Turner. So I got Dallas Turner, the edge rusher out of Alabama, going to the Falcons. He was playing a little bit in the shadow of Will Anderson the year before. And so there were some questions about, is he going to be a great edge rusher in his own right without Will Anderson on the other side? And I think he answered that question resoundingly this past college football season. He was able to basically get after quarterbacks using his entire tool set of moves. And that's before you get to the fact that he is also capable of hitting you with a power rush that if you're not paying attention, you're getting pancaked. Number 9, I've got the Bears again. They're going to take Malik Neighbors to give a young wide receiver to Caleb Williams. They spent a lot of money on wide receiver, but I mean, you go after a Keenan Allen, that's a veteran guy, but why not go get a younger player as well to follow that up with, and somebody who can grow together with your quarterback? If you've got a Neighbors Williams connection going on, I think that could be particularly scary in the NFC North. Malik Neighbors is a speedster. We saw the season that he had catching footballs from Jaden Daniels. Caleb Williams is going to do a whole lot more of the same. Number 10, the Jets, because they don't really have a tackle that they can grab, and Joe Alt and Fashanu being off the board. I've got the Jets taking Brock Bowers at 10, the tight end out of Georgia. There's some downsides there to Brock Bowers. He's not much of a blocker at tight end, but what he does is always be open. He is just a great receiver to have in the middle of the field because he's big, he's quick, he's got great hands, and he's got the intelligence to know where the soft points in the defense are and sit down in there. And I think that's a really good compliment to the way Aaron Rodgers likes to play football, is to always have a guy who just knows where to be in case things break down. And coming off an injury, let's get Aaron Rodgers some help.
Why not? Yeah.
Number 11, I have the Vikings in a weird spot because I know that they'd love to get a quarterback. And like I said, in real life, the Vikings would go up and get JJ McCarthy and not let the Giants take him. But at 11, if they were to stay there for whatever reason, I have them taking Talise Fuaga. They need help on that offensive line. I think Fuaga can give them that. And they, in this version of the draft, can look for a quarterback elsewhere.
All right. So there it is. Too bad we don't have something on online for Keon to post his mock draft all the way through all the first round. But
well, if you
that would be
tune
cool,
into,
man.
Without Interruption.
Oh, if you tune into Without Interruption,
You might get the rest
immediately
of it.
following the Weekend Warriors, is it 11? No, 11 o'clock. No, 12 o'clock. No,
It's
what
11.
time is it?
It's 11.
11 o'clock.
Mhm.
Over most of these same radio stations, you can hear the rest of this mock draft Without Interruption with Keon Rose on this station. Well, the NFL draft coming up a week from yesterday. It starts, and I don't know. We haven't decided what we're doing yet. Probably the first round, I would imagine.
We're going to be on for 6 hours that day.
I don't know who you heard that from. It wouldn't have been Jeffrey.
It was Jeffrey, yeah.
I know you didn't hear from Jeffrey.
And
We're
he
doing-
must have been real drunk at that
Yeah, he
point.
said 3 to 9 is what he told
Yeah.
me.
Was he slurring his words when he said that? Was
Well,
it
he slurs them a lot when we
3,
talk later. But yeah,
9.
That's because you guys sample bourbon all the time. Listen, we've got more when we come back. We're going to talk some playoff basketball. Of course, the Suns are in action, and also the Lakers are in action. We're going to break those down for you, those series down for you when we come back. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
With the NBA playoffs starting this weekend, the Boston Celtics are the favorite to win the Eastern Conference. They finished the regular season with the best record in the NBA. Celtics minus 220 to represent the East. The Milwaukee Bucks, who finished third in the conference, are plus 800. Philadelphia, a 7 seed, but got Joel Embiid back, plus 850, while the New York Knicks are plus 1100. Over in the West, the Denver Nuggets, the defending NBA champs, are plus 140 to win the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 1 seed, are plus 550. The Dallas Mavericks, with NBA scoring leader Luka Doncic, are also plus 550. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details. If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Posters, flyers, signs, and menus for less? Think Staples. Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. Now at Staples, save $50 on your print purchase of $150 or more. Same-day service available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. And all backed by Staples' Print Perfect guarantee. So it's done right or it's printed again free. Staples, your local print and marketing expert. N61, visit staples.com/print for details.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the 4-day super sale, April 19th through the 22nd, and get 40% off paints and stains with prices starting at $26.69. That means 40% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 40% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Need a boost in capital or a flexible line of credit for your growing business? Hi, I'm Dylan Cohen at JR Capital. I can help you get the money you need fast. The process is a breeze with a simple application and same-day approvals. No more waiting, no more hassle. Just a straightforward path to securing the funds you need faster and easier than asking your banker. So call me, Dylan Cohen, at 602-834-7353. That's 602-834-7353. Or visit moneyradio.com and click on Finance with Dylan.
We all know driving hammered gets you nailed, but did you also know driving high is a DUI? I'm Officer Badalucco with the Gilbert Police Department. Anything that impairs your driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving high is illegal. Be smart with marijuana use. Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word with hashtag HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com. That's what I'd like. A little Friday afternoon rock and roll kicking us back into action here. Yeah, it's a Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Randy White alongside Keon Rose and Ralph Romano, and we're headed for 6 o'clock tonight. Lots happening. Of course, you, the fourth dimension, texting in at 888-368-1580. Booze and Raider says, I just want to have a good weekend. Randy, can I have a triple? Wow. What's it like a triple?
Trying to have a good weekend, or
a good weekend, or a forgetful one,
or a weekend you can't remember.
Wow. Well, it's Friday, so enjoy, I guess. Just be careful out there. 888-368-1580. Big George, see, this is what you started now, Ralph. This is what you started. Big George on the text line, waiting on the thinking wheel of death again. Because Big George's text, for whatever reason today, folks, the text from Big George just don't seem to want to come in clear. And it's true. He hasn't had many that have been too long. They've been very short and succinct, but for whatever reason, Big George. Well, Silver Pops, because his load's right up. I don't know why. Randy, since the turf is green in Brazil, does that mean they're going to have to play on a dirt field? Do the Packers have to change their name to the Bay Packers? No, it'd be the Wisconsin Packers. I think is what it would be. I mean, Bay Packers doesn't make any sense. I mean, what bay?
There are multiple bays in Wisconsin.
I mean, it could be any bay.
It could be Green Bay. It could be Sturgeon Bay. There's a few of them. So.
Sturgeon Bay. There you go. See?
You can't just be Bay because
Big George, here you go, Ralph. Thanks. You guys are doing a 6-hour draft show next Thursday, eh? Awesome. I'll be listening to every second of that. You guys have the best NFL draft show of anybody. How do you know this?
Yeah, no. Good luck with that 6 hours. You stay dialed in. And if you don't hear us, just listen closer.
Ralph has volunteered to do a 6-hour draft show next Thursday. Jeffrey, Keon, and myself will be taking the day off.
I don't think so.
888-368-1580. That's the text line. So we've been kind of avoiding a little bit of this, but the Lakers have moved on, and congratulations, you won the right to play the reigning champions, Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
This year, the Lakers are 0-3 against the Nuggets.
Means nothing.
And you guys are going to start up in Denver, I understand.
Yes,
and
in that god awful city, yes.
Mile High City.
Yeah, god awful.
God awful.
Yes. Have you been to Denver?
I have, as a matter of fact, a few times. And
there's a reason the airport's in Kansas.
So, Ralph, this is your team. I'm going to let you start to break it down first. What are you looking for? I know, you know, and all kidding aside, you were kind of concerned about this. You did not want to see the Nuggets first round.
It's a tough matchup for the Lakers because of Jokic. I mean, he has done a good job against the Lakers, and he hits shots. He hits shots that make no sense. They're shots he should never hit, and he seems to always hit them against the Lakers.
He hits shots that make no sense.
And they're difference-making shots.
Look, the Lakers, I was watching them play in the playoffs last year, and the Lakers played 23 and a half seconds of borderline flawless defense.
Yes.
And then Nikola Jokic took the ball, he put it behind his head, and he threw it at the basket. And it went right in. It didn't hit the backboard, nothing. And Anthony Davis, like the close-ups of that poor guy's face, because he's sitting there like, what else can I do?
Nothing.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
And he didn't do it once or twice or three. He did it a million times. And it was part of the reason that they swept the Lakers or did what they did to the Lakers.
Well, yeah. And of course, because you have Jokic doing stuff like that, you
Yeah.
pull Anthony Davis away from the basket. That's open now.
I think the difference this year is, for the most part, Anthony Davis has been healthy. LeBron has, I think, managed his season enough to where I think he's got a lot in the tank for this playoff run. We're playing him in the first round, not in the finals. So I remember by the time the Lakers got to the conference finals last year, they were pretty drained. They had to work hard to get there. So I think this is a little different scenario. If the Lakers can play that defense, LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to get their points. Austin Reeves is a year older and guy's a stud. I love the guys they have around. If Vincent can play, if Vanderbilt can actually play, and that's, I think, the X factor is seeing if Vanderbilt could actually play in this series. And the Lakers can pull off a win in Denver in the first two, then we have a series.
That's what you need to do, right? As a visiting team, you need to take one of the
we just got
one
to
of
take
the
one.
games at home.
And I prefer to take the first one. But if they can just take one, I'm telling you, this is a different series. Now,
So
if the
Keon-
Lakers go back 0-2, I don't know.
So Keon, what are you looking for Denver and the Lakers, the matchup tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, obviously looking for that on the Jokic BS. I don't know what else you call it. I mean, the guy
Jokic
does things on a basketball court that make almost no sense. Like, logically speaking, you would not do the things that he does. You would not take the kinds of shots that he takes. You wouldn't make the kinds of passes you wouldn't attempt the kinds of passes he makes. He's just got insane court vision, and he changes the entire flow of the game. And because he's able to stretch the floor as a center, he takes Anthony Davis away from what Anthony Davis does best, which is making people look stupid trying to go to the basket. I mean, he's a fly swatter anytime that someone tries to go there, but because he's not in the paint anymore, the Nuggets have so many players who can drive the basketball and get to the basket. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon. These guys have all taken advantage of the fact that Anthony Davis can't play defense the way he wants to. And this is not a knock on Darvin Ham. I literally do not know what the adjustment for that is.
So what I'm concerned about for the Lakers is I saw last week in the game before the Pelicans game, the play-in game. It seemed like Anthony Davis had back spasms, and if his back starts to act up during these play-ins or during this first round series, this is going to be rough. But on the other hand, the Lakers do have a full season together. This was a team they assembled basically last year at the trade deadline. And as Ralph has noted, and I think he's right, this team plays well together. There's a chemistry about this team. So
there is.
And also it's the playoffs, and we all know what LeBron James can do in the playoffs. And you're right, Ralph. He has managed his time this year. And I think the Lakers are going to make this a series.
LeBron will get his. Anthony Davis will get his. I mean, there's no doubt about that, right? Austin Reeves is playing great basketball this year. And in the last, I would say, month and a half, D'Angelo Russell has been playing out of this world. They need that against this Nugget team. They didn't really have that last year the way they have it now. I think that's huge. So we'll see.
The concern I have about the Lakers, especially those two guys that Ralph mentioned, because they are important. D'Angelo Russell is unconscious scoring the basketball right now. And Austin Reeves, the fact that they give him the ball late in games to make big shots should tell you a lot.
Yeah.
When you've got LeBron and Anthony Davis to go through and you can still give the ball to Austin Reeves and feel comfortable with that, that's good news for him. But I think that both of those guys are kind of defensive liabilities. So what the Lakers need if they want to win this series is to have those two guys have their offensive output so high that it actually offsets anything defensively. Because all those guys in Denver slash to the basket. Yeah. And, Anthony Davis won't be home.
Haruto's on the text line at 888-368-1580. Mr. Ralph, Roger Romano, I agree with you. I think the Lakers will win this series against the Denver Nuggets. I'm a big LeBron James fan, and he turns it on in the playoffs. The Lakers are in 7th place. Okay. As I said, this is the second season, but Haruto, I would be careful. First of all, I'd be careful about calling Ralph by his all three given names. Second of all, I would be careful because this Denver team are the reigning champs, and like he said, they have a lot of players out there that can score at will, and then you've got the big guy inside, the Joker, who just throws the ball up and it seems to go in the basket. He makes plays when it's on the line. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out.
What I would say, it's incredibly hard to win back-to-back titles in the NBA. It's not an easy thing.
Oh yeah, certainly.
And Denver is not what they were last year. I feel like last year they were separated from the rest of the Western Conference. They were just better. And this year you haven't seen that. They've kind of tailed off a bit. And I don't think, it's not that they're not hungry because they did it, but there is something to that sometime with some of these teams. And I just feel that they're not the same team from last year. And I think if you're going to see them exit, it could happen in that first round. It wouldn't be the first time a defending champ get knocked out in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It happens
Yeah.
a lot. So
Right.
if this is a prime spot, in my opinion, with a Laker team as deep as they are, playing as well as they are, that could knock them out. We'll see.
So it's game time tomorrow night, 5:30 Arizona time, and Nuggets take on the Lakers. We'll see what happens in game one. And I think LeBron James, with all the experience he's had, is going to be telling these guys, we need game one. We need game one.
I agree.
And if we don't get game one, we need game two. We can't go home down 0-2 because then the Nuggets could really put it on you.
It's over if that happens.
When we come back, we'll talk about the Phoenix Suns and their matchup against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin. And over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller,
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? Huh? You don't say. Oh, I can't remember.
but she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive
That's
Casualty
right.
Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppable bottle shake. And now a Smith solo. Nice. Get 6 times longer lasting freshness plus odor protection with Downy Unstoppables and wash scent beads.
Marijuana may be legal in Arizona, but driving impaired is not.
As a police officer here in Arizona, I know DUIs apply to more than just alcohol. Anything that impairs driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving impaired can get you a DUI.
Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word with the hashtag HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Dell Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Dell's team live in Phoenix 2 days only at the Embassy Suites Phoenix Biltmore. Saturday and Sunday, April 27th and 28th. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the 6-pack?
Bingo.
That's what we thought. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Oh, can somebody say, hey, man? Gary Clark Jr. It's a Daily Blender as we are winding down towards 6 o'clock tonight, and we're talking some NBA basketball playoff action right now. Suns will be in action tomorrow afternoon, about noon 30. About noon 30 is tip time, I believe. Against the Timberwolves, Suns are 3-0 versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, Ken, I'll start with you. You break down this series for us. What are you looking for out of the Suns, and what are you looking for out of Game 1?
Yeah, I think with the Suns, I'm looking for them to kind of continue what they were doing the last 10 games or so of the season. They won 7 out of 10 of their last games while playing one of the toughest schedules in the NBA, and at points the toughest schedule in the NBA. And I thought that was incredibly impressive. It was a good moment when they were all gelling. I like that Bradley Beal started playing with a whole lot more confidence. He looked more locked in and more dialed in than I think at any point in the season. So, you talk about getting hot at the right time. Like, that's good to see. That's incredibly good news. And then I think what I expect from them is, this is a team that I don't know that rest hurts them. There are some teams I think rest hurts them. I think rest probably hurts OKC. They're young guys. They're kind of chomping at the bit to get going. But a team like Phoenix, they're older. They deal with nagging injuries. That time off, I think, was actually really helpful for them. Avoiding that play-in game was really good. I am not a huge fan of the way this Timberwolves team is put together. I think that they are very talented. Anthony Edwards is legitimate, but I just don't trust Karl Anthony Towns. He doesn't like to be 7 feet tall. That's the way he plays. He's a big guy, but he likes to shoot threes. He likes to play a very finesse game, but he doesn't like rebounding. He's not a tough defender. And so you end up having to have a guy like Rudy Gobert out there. So now you've got 2 7-footers on the floor. You're a slower team as a result of that. And I think that this is not a great matchup for the Timberwolves at all. So I do expect the Suns to come out and play well.
Agree or disagree, Ralph?
No, I agree. I think this is not a good matchup for the Timberwolves. This is probably the team that they didn't want to see, right? In my opinion. I mean, Phoenix just needs to keep their head on straight, keep doing what they've been doing over the last month, and play that kind of ball. If they walk into this series thinking we've been killing these guys all year, this is not going to be a big deal, and they just go at it that way versus being hungry and just trying to just go in there and destroy these guys, then they can wind up putting themselves in a hole they can't get out of. Don't give the Timberwolves life. I think if you let Minnesota win the first game of this series, that gives them a little bit more confidence to Game 2. If Phoenix goes in there and wins Game 1, I think honestly that's the most important game of this series, because the Timberwolves are going to start questioning, can we beat these guys? And then at that point, I don't think they can. So I think Game 1 is the crucial, pivotal game for this. The Timberwolves need to win this Game 1. To me, it's just it's huge for them.
Phoenix, I think I mentioned this. Phoenix, the season series, Phoenix was 3-0 against the Timberwolves, and it seemed like the Timberwolves just had fits trying to defend Phoenix. So, and everybody seems to be healthy right now. You've got the big three on the floor, so we'll have to wait and see how this thing plays out. And they've had a little rest. They've had some time to heal up some of the sores that they've had and kind of get some therapy and be ready to play. So even though there are a bunch of senior citizens out there, I still think the Suns are a dangerous team. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, that's on at 12:30 tomorrow. Let's get this out of the way before Big George comes in from San Diego and puts the whammy on me. It's time for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1981, the longest professional baseball game ever played took place between the Pawtucket, Rhode Island Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings of the International League. Game was so long it was suspended after 32 innings, 8 hours and 7 minutes, with the score tied at 2-2 at 4:07 a.m. Apparently, Cal Ripken Jr. played in that game. Wade Boggs played in that game. A couple of Hall of Famers there. 2 months later, the Pawtucket family finally won the game in the 33rd inning. They won by a score of 3-2. Now, if this was today, our drunk commissioner would have put a runner on second base to try to solve this. So,
I wonder how many fans hung out for that game.
That would have been fun. I did go to I went to the Diamondbacks game. I don't remember if it was with the Dodgers or somebody. They played deep into the wee hours of the morning one time years ago. I was there. Me and my oldest son were there for the whole game. I may have gotten in a little trouble with his mom, but still, hey, we talk about that today. And he's nearly 40 years old. So
that's nice.
888-368-1580. The text line is open. You're welcome, Big George, and thank you. And thank you to all of you on the Fourth Dimension for texting in today. Had a kind of a feel-good story here. You never give up. But when you're in baseball, you never give up. And that means if you're playing in the minor leagues, you just never give up, because there's always going to be a chance. You're playing minor league baseball. There's always going to be a chance. And the Boston Red Sox are giving a chance because they need a left-handed reliever. So they have called up a guy by the name of Cam Boozer. He's 31 years old, never played in the major leagues. He's been called up from AAA Worcester and will join the Sox for their weekend series against Pittsburgh. The move was first reported by MLB.com. And from 2017 to 21, Boozer was out of Major League out of professional baseball, believing his playing days were over. He moved home to Seattle and became a carpenter. Prior to leaving the game, Boozer was dealt with a variety of obstacles, including Tommy John surgery. In college at Oregon State, he went undrafted, managed to sign with the Minnesota Twins organization in 2013. And 2 years into his pro career, he had surgery for a torn labrum in 2015 while he was with the Twins. Months later, Boozer was hit by a car while riding his bike, breaking a bone in the base of his back. He was also suspended 50 games after testing positive for the Mary Jane. Anyway, he ended up.
That's not what I expected you to say.
Ended up the Mary Jane. Ended up going through the Arizona Diamondbacks the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. Boozer signed a minor league contract with the Snakes, and then he signed on with the Red Sox. Appeared in 48 games with Worcester and 57 and 2/3 innings. Boozer struck out 66 batters. So far this year, he's notched 15 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings, while averaging 97 miles an hour with his fastball and hitting 99 on the high end. So, as it were, the Red Sox made the phone call to bring him up because they need a left-handed arm in the bullpen. So congratulations to Cam Boozer, who's had a torn labrum, Tommy John surgery, was a carpenter, run over by a car, played with the Diamondbacks, and now he's going to get a chance to play in the big leagues. And I hope he enjoys every second of it. That will be coming up this weekend against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's a
so
cool
good
story.
for him.
Yeah,
man.
Hopefully he doesn't bring the Mary Jane with him, but that's a cool story.
Well, I'm sure. Probably learned a lesson about the Mary Jane, the evil adulterous Mary Jane.
It's funny how sometimes these older pitchers, all of a sudden, they find it in their 30s.
Yeah.
Their velocity goes up, their accuracy gets better, their spin rates go up, and it's like, it's just out of the blue. It just happens.
No kidding.
Not the first time.
Something else that happens. Trent Baalke had a press conference here recently, and he's the Jaguars GM, Trent Baalke, and apparently he made major waves during the offseason, doing some moves and helping this team to get better. Problem is, during a presser this week, Baalke it seemed to have to relieve a little pressure. Let's see if you can hear it here.
We've got a couple of days going through. Coach and I haven't sat down and go, excuse me, gone through the final.
And there it was, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Preceding the latest move for the Jaguars.
We need to hear that again.
Keon,
excuse me, and then he just kept right on talking. Like
We got a couple of days going through. Coach and I haven't sat down and go, excuse me, gone through the final.
Preceding the upcoming move for the Jaguars.
Wow.
Trent Baalke, ladies and gentlemen.
That actually reminds me of the time when Jim Tom Sula was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, and he ripped one in a press conference. The thing is, the difference between him and Trent Baalke is he didn't even say, excuse me. He just kept right on going like it did not happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trent Baalke, the GM for the Jaguars.
Oh, I'm going to remember that for years.
Excuse me, he says. You know, the funny
He's
thing
polite.
is, funny thing is Jeffrey is always doing that. You just can't hear him. That's the problem.
Because
And
Jeffrey's
Jeffrey
got
just
the silent but deadlies.
He will go boldly go where no man has gone before. He doesn't care. He'll do that all the time.
That's why I don't go in studio anymore.
He calls it hot boxing. So I'll never forget a time when I was working in TV, and I'll never forget a time. So I was a stage manager on this show, and we had a guest, and they were seated in these kind of bar stools, and the host was sitting there interviewing the guest, and the guest was answering, and he just did the old one cheek lift and while we're taping. Yeah, we didn't catch it till it was in the edit bay, and one of the editors caught that. So yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Oh man.
You just never know what's going to happen, you know, with your body. But time to spin the wheel of sports, says Ray. Right now, I think we're almost out of time. Got about a minute here, do we?
Yeah, like a minute and a half.
About a minute and a half. All right. Then why don't we go ahead and spin the wheel of sports, ladies and gentlemen? So I told you about Trent Baalke. Here is this is a sad story. A guy had a supercar, a Lamborghini. It's a high-end sports car, of course, and he was the owner. It was trying to sell this Lamborghini. It was listed at $600,000. He had agreed to meet a prospective buyer on Tuesday, just before 2 p.m. in the parking lot of Notre Dame Drive in St. Agatha. Apparently, this was in Canada. The male subject pulled up in a white Mercedes Maybach, said the police. He then asked to take the Lambo for a test drive. Now, normally, you would think if you had a $600,000 car, you would get in the car with this guy as he goes for a test drive, right?
Of course.
Well, apparently, the guy got in the car, put it in gear, and roared off. And after a few moments, the Maybach also was close behind the Lambo as they drove off. After a few minutes, the guy realized what had happened. This guy had come up and he had done a test drive stealing of his $600,000 black Lamborghini, and he drove off into the Canadian wilderness. Waterloo officials are still looking for the suspect and the car.
Some people have a lot of money, especially Lamborghini levels of money, because they're incredibly talented or sharp or shrewd.
Yeah.
But that's not everybody.
Some people have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of brains.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he had insurance.
A lot of dollars, no sense.
I don't know. Didn't say anything about insurance here.
I really think he did.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to tell your insurance company. So wait, you handed him the keys?
He gave him the keys to drive. Well, that's going to do it for Keon, Ralph, and myself. Jeffrey back on Monday. This has been the Daily Blender, and we will see you Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. over most of these same radio stations. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk again on Monday. Bye-bye.